Mark, I get it, man. You don't do podcasts unless they're a big deal. But, brother, D-Magazine, you know what we do around here. We're not small potatoes. Come on, man. You can make this happen, right? We're going to take care of you.
What in the flying fuck is the Intersections podcast? Are they talking about traffic lights? Bob Leopards? What the hell, dude?
Mark, come on, man. Come do this shit.
Welcome back to StrongSide, the show, episode 21 from the beautiful Haymaker Studios in Frisco, Texas. I am Mike Palucci. He is Mike Marshall. You know us from D Magazine. Subscribe to the little magazine we put out. Read our stuff on the internet. Watch us here. We're going to hang out with Bobby Karalla, one of our favorite people, one of Mike's especially favorite people. We're gonna dish some stuff on the Mavs day. We're going to get into that. We're going to do a little bit of that ourselves first. But the team that's doing some stuff, do some things about that team. So, Mike, what are we talking about first, man?
Let's jump into Rangers baseball, if you don't mind. Four and 2 to start the season with a nice little 4-game win streak sandwich in the middle of that. The bats look like they're alive. The bullpen hasn't completely imploded in all directions as of yet. Jake Berger.
Yeah,
looks like
making us look good on this program.
He can still hit the ball. McCutcheon's slapping the shit out of the thing. Best exit velo on the team. 7 guys over 800 OPS heading into today. They played a game, so that doesn't update immediately. Sorry about that. But leading baseball on hard hit rates.
We like
all really fun stuff. How enthused are you? And is everything going to be okay? Is it going to be like
I was the curmudgeon last week. I will cop to that, but it's hard not to be excited about this. Here's a good stat from the Morning News, Evan Grant. In the March 30th game against Baltimore, the Orioles threw 181 pitches in that 9-inning game. Last year, 9-inning games, opponents threw more pitches than that only 4 times.
Okay.
So if you want the Skip Schumacher philosophy in action and proof that is happening, there's your proof, right? It's early, but some of this is already getting traced back to the Brandon Nimmo effect. They did with him what I thought they were going to do, which is stick him back atop the lineup after New York had him in the middle of the order. He's doing Brandon Nimmo things, which is just, I'm going to walk, and I'm going to do my thing, and I'm going to make you work. And, at the risk of sounding hacky, when you do that and other people watch, it can get a little contagious. I think we knew there was going to be some regression for Berger. I talked about it. Zach Walchuk talked about it last week. But the good news that's happening with this stuff is you could sit here and say, okay, old man Andrew McCutcheon is going to be doing this. No, we get it. Wyatt Langford hasn't done anything yet. Nathan Eovaldi, both of his starts so far haven't been great. Even if you allow for the idea, as I introduced last week, that once you get to a certain age with 2 repaired elbows, it could drop off fast. He's not this bad. He's not an 11 ERA pitcher, right? So it isn't as though they are getting max production from their best dudes. And you're going, well, all the dudes who are supposed to hit are hitting above 500. What now? No, they're getting some unexpected contributions, right? How you have that much force coming out of your lineup. Is that going to stick all year long? We're going to have to see. But if nothing else, they clearly are playing a different brand of baseball. They know what the hell they want to do, and they're doing that thing. There's an idea, and there is a plan of attack, and there are people in place who at least fit that philosophy. And that's all you can kind of ask for from a new manager who you're trying to figure out, okay, does what he did in Miami when he was an NL Manager of the Year, does that translate here? Well, so far, yeah, clearly he's been able to impart some stuff. And that's not a small thing when you're replacing one of the best to ever do it, and certainly the best to ever do it here. So, yeah, impossible not to be encouraged so far. Even down to Tyler Alexander catching a couple saves in there, right? Yep. Jacob Yuda's doing things to the bullpen. I have a huge amount of skepticism over that relief corps, but so far they're doing their jobs. So, yeah, I don't know what more I reasonably could ask for other than a start or something like that.
Yeah, positive returns on Nimmo early. Positive returns on Danny Jansen.
Yep.
He's been really, really good, honestly. How long is the leash on Josh Young? And also, when's Wyatt going to wake up? Right?
Yeah.
I think that's it's 6 games in. There's nothing to be read long term, but I think we all had our own personal doubts about Josh Young.
Yeah.
To begin the season, and then you are following a negative feeling up with another one. Right? It's this circular pattern is happening. So I don't know. That might be the position that I'm just harping on for the rest of, I don't know, the first month all through April. I'm like, okay, is Josh Young going to be a thing? Does he need regular bats? He got 2 hits today, so hopefully in an RBI, so hopefully he's shaken out of it a little bit. But that's the guy, for better or for worse, he's in my crosshairs right now.
Yeah, and they have a solution. Solution might be strong. They have an option. They have an option.
Got an idea of a plan.
They have a backup plan, which is Zeke Duran, who's played a little bit better out of the gate. Yeah, but certainly, look, I don't think when we sat here made this list of guys who needed to bounce back, nobody thought they all were. Mm-hmm. Somebody on that list come not even 2 months from now, might be a month from now, we're going, yeah, he's riding pine. This is over, right? The Josh Young thing could be over in May, for all we know. Hopefully for everybody's sake, it's not, but he's 28. He was a college player, he was an older college guy, and the idea of, he's only been around so long. He's 28. Mm-hmm. If it isn't this year, it's not happening. So, yeah, that's what you're monitoring, because when the inevitable McCutchen regression hits, who's coming back up to stabilize that? Jake Berger, I think is going to be a good hitter all year. Jake Berger's not hitting this slash line all year, right? So somebody's got to step up. Wyatt will do that. But ideally, you're looking for one more guy, and maybe that's a Josh Young. We'll find out. Mm-hmm. You know what I want to find out?
What's that?
Mark Cuban, will you come on this YouTube show?
Hey,
Mark, please?
Open invite.
Because, Mark, every time you go on a new show, you spill some tea, and people learn about that show. I didn't know what the Intersections podcast was until 48 hours ago. Yeah. Didn't even know that the esteemed Tom Leppert, former mayor of Dallas, had a podcast.
No.
But I know now.
Playing golf or something.
You could have told me anything I know about it, but you know what? I know he's got one now. I think the whole free world knows he's got a podcast now because, Mark, you went there and you said some things. Specifically, the former majority owner of the Mavericks, the teaser, and this is props to whoever cuts that show, because you did it right. Mm-hmm. You cut the teaser. The teaser was, Cuban saying that he does not regret that he sold the Mavericks. He regrets who he sold them to. Mm-hmm. But then you save, that's your jab. And then the uppercut comes when the full episode drops, which is when he says that Jason Kidd helped order the code red on Luka Doncic. Yeah. And saying in no uncertain terms that the general manager and the coach he traded our best player, which then when reached for comment, Jason Kidd said, when are we going to move on from this thing?
You talking about old stuff? You talking about old shit? What do you want from me? That was Kidd's reaction last night.
Yeah, it was not the best. So my question simply, besides Mark, please come on our show. Thank you.
I've emailed you. We've corresponded. Yeah, we'll make it work at some point. Hopefully before you spill all the beans.
We write good, fun questions here. We'll have a good time. I'll give you great rapid fire questions, man. But beyond that, my question to you, Mike Marshall, is a man who used to work for this esteemed organization. Mm-hmm. I know there are a lot more bodies buried somewhere. How and when are they starting to come out? Because it feels like this is a man who's tired of holding the secrets back.
Yeah, it is a curious case of like why do you need to say these things at this point? Like,
I have two theories we can get to.
Is it frustration because you know what's about to happen to your ownership stake in the team, and that probably means some, I don't know, if they want to be a little petty about it. And say a 7% owner doesn't need a second row seat to every home game and walk around here like he owns the place on game nights. They could. They have every right to. Whether or not I would respect it or think it's chill or I don't know. That's business. That's the business part of it. And whenever you get into bed with people like this in business, they can kind of do whatever they want. So maybe he heard some bad news from them. Maybe I think the Kid thing was honestly just kind of like a slip up. Because he's talking a little too much on a little too many things and just kind of threw in our coach and GM, let that happen. And by the way, he didn't mention Matt Riccardi because Matt Riccardi was not in a position to say yes or no on a Luka trade at that point. He just wasn't. He was not high enough on the totem pole.
Right.
Like
he also went out of his way to defend Michael Finley and said that Michael Finley was not involved. So.
He did, exactly. He defended Finn. Didn't bring up Riccardi because Riccardi was not in the text chain, I don't think. He was a layer down.
Yeah, he's out of the group chat.
Yeah, I love Matt. I think he definitely deserves a GM position at some point. It might be next year. That's up to them. But Matt was not in that conversation of, hey, Matt, is this a good idea or not? Because I think, number one, Nico was controlling it and did that for a reason, right? If Mark wants to get really messy, he could get really messy.
Yeah.
It could get really nasty, really ugly. He could get all the headlines in the world. But glass houses and all that, I would be kind of careful because it's not an ownership tenure without blemish on it. There isn't a clean bill of health in the rearview mirror. And I don't know if Mark wants all the stuff that could possibly come out in different directions to come out.
Yeah, so my aforementioned two theories. You hit on one of them. Mm-hmm. And for those who are not familiar, per the provisions of the Mavericks sale, right now Mark Cuban owns 27.7% of the team still. The Adelson Dumont families have the option within 4 years of the sale to buy an additional 20%. So he goes down to 7%.
Yeah.
And was it now a month ago when the Mark Stein report came out that some unnamed ownership group was interested in partnering with him, whatever?
Yeah.
The statement that came from the team concluded with the Adelson and Dumont families were looking forward to expanding their ownership of stake in the team.
Yeah, just a little wink of,
right.
Hey, we can do this.
So if you are Mark Cuban and you know that you're about to be a single-digit stake owner, which has no influence at all over anything, you might feel like, fuck it, I'm gonna air it out. Because why not? What do I have to lose? That's theory number one. And these theories are not mutually exclusive. Theory number two is that's what's coming in the imminent future, right? Because I think they have 2 more years to buy him out. So that's coming soon.
And he might genuinely regret that he sold the team to those people that let Nico dog walk them around into this decision. That could be a genuine thing.
Sure.
So it doesn't all have to be with intent.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm interested to hear the second one.
Second one is what's going to happen in 2031, which is there's a new arena coming. We know this. Seems pretty likely going to be on the side of City Hall. And I've written, and we talked about on the show, about the idea that the city of Dallas, if they don't keep the Mavericks, we are the largest metro area by far that does not have one of the 4 teams in the city. They know they have to keep the Mavericks. The Adelson family, who, whatever you think about them, knows how to exert leverage and get things they want. They know they have the situation by the balls. And it is going to lead to a deal that is not going to be good for taxpayers and people who live in the city. And Jake Kemp, our pal, who's been here, who writes for DMagazine.com. Jake caught up on the Dumb Zone, his show, and wrote a piece for us at D. Talked to the guy who's in the focus group about this new arena. And they're talking about personal seat licenses, which is a thing in only one other arena in the NBA. I'm going to let you guess which arena that is and which man built it. It's Chase Center, built by Rick Welts. Talking about how there might be seats in that arena that are going for minimum 95. Nosebleed seats at that kind of money. How's that going to go over in this city? It's not going to go over really well, right? So if you're Mark Cuban and you're a guy, you're not on Shark Tank anymore. I think we all have kind of let the delusion pass that Mark's running for president. It's not going to happen.
Right.
He doesn't own the basketball team. He doesn't have say in the basketball team. Who is Mark Cuban at this point in his life? He is an influential and important Dallas figure. That is indisputable. He is one of the most important people in the city. He does a lot of great work in the city. Cost Plus Drugs. Google it if you don't know. If you are a guy in this city and you travel in powerful circles, the sort of circles that care about things with the Mavericks for a lot more than who wins and who loses, but cares about the city and about what big arena developments will do to the city, and you're in those types of circles and social environments, and a lot of people are pissed off about they destroyed City Hall to put this here and jack up taxpayer prices so that only rich people can go to these games, and they know they have a direct line to Mark Cuban, they're going to ask Mark some questions. And they're going to be like, you enabled this, man. You made this happen. Not saying this is fair. Not saying people necessarily accuse him of that. I'm saying there will be people within their rights to connect dots and say, you did this.
Yeah.
So what's a real good way if ownership is distancing themselves from you? It's to put some distance between yourself and everybody that people are going to hate even more in 5 years and say, you know what? I screwed up, because Mark said in the show, he didn't go into all the mistakes, but he said, I made mistakes. But he's making it clear, hey, it didn't go down the way I wanted to. I messed up too, guys. I'm not blameless. But these people, without saying these people in so many words, saying these people, because 5 years from now, when everybody's real mad at what this arena turns into, Mark Cuban can go back 5 years to this paper trail he's starting to lay down and be like, I didn't want any of this. This wasn't me. I'm not friends with them. They're not like me as a Dallas guy here.
Yeah, it's a controlled blast to separate himself away from, like, yeah, I did that thing. The worst thing he could have done is say, like, I don't regret it or whatever. You know, the worse than making the mistake is saying, like, I don't regret the mistake and I've learned nothing from the mistake.
Exactly.
And we've come to the point where he's comfortable knowing what his future is before December 20th, 2027, that he's going to get bought down. And he can't do anything about that. And his life's probably going to change a little bit, honestly. And he wants you to know, I am not them.
Yeah.
That is not me. That is not what I agree with. That is not. And he's kind of been building to this.
Yeah.
Which, Mark, like, if you want to launch a podcast, bud, we'll just do it. Like, I got you, man. I'll do it for free.
D
like,
Magazine. We're good
man.
with the content game.
We'll have a great time. Like, it'll be way more fun than whatever this is. This booking with different random randos every once in a while.
Unless you're booking with us randos, in which case this is the most fun.
And then book with these randos.
Yeah,
but it's he's been saying stuff every once in a while, right? That like kind of breadcrumbs to this.
Yeah,
moment.
you could go back a year to when he was on DLLS with I believe our pal Bobby Karalla was in there. You know, that was the first time he started talking about how he would have done it differently, put the team up for bid.
Yeah.
And it's been building since then with different appearances.
Yeah, and whether or not he had an involvement with the group that was trying to dive in on the ownership share and buy back 51 or buy up to 51%, you know, he didn't say anything. Haven't heard anything since. Went away real quick because I think they got turned away pretty quickly from, you know, anybody that even would consider.
Well, it's either that or you could even be more cynical. You float a anonymous group is interested in partnering with Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Mark can say that I wasn't interested in partnering with them. Public trial balloon.
Yeah.
Because I've never seen Mark Cuban more popular in social media in the last 2 years than that day.
Yeah.
A lot of people forgot a lot of stuff about Mark and were real on board with him buying that team back.
Yeah.
So that just, you know, you could do that passively without you being involved in the process.
Yeah.
Now, Mark's not afraid to get his hands dirty, as we know. But
he can laugh that off and be like, "Oh, you're believing those reports? That's crazy."
Right, exactly. But that's a very easy way if you wanted to. I'm not saying he did. I have no idea. But I'm saying there's a way a guy who's a savvy, smart Cuban can make sure that sort of thing flies a little bit and makes him look real good and then wash his hands of it. Yeah. But laying more groundwork for the stuff he's doing more overtly to be like, I'm not with them.
Yeah.
You know,
Mark is a chaos agent. Like, there is no doubt about it. But he's in a very like art of war way of being able to just like, if I throw all this stuff in the air, I trust that I am quick enough to like catch it all. And that's what he does, right? And that's his style. And he's really great at signaling to a fan base.
Absolutely.
And I've always admired him for that. Yeah. Whether or not it ended up being like 1,000% genuine on this or that, he always starts with good intentions and signaling the right way. And what he's trying to tell you right now is, I'm separate from these people and all the bad will that they are going to accumulate over the next couple of years, unless this is a championship caliber team, and unless this is the greatest arena that has ever been built, and unless everybody can afford to go to this thing and it becomes a bastion of downtown and brings back commerce to that area.
Saves the area, yeah.
If any of those boxes are void on the right side of the paper, you don't want to be associated with it. And he thinks that's not going to happen. Right? That's just not going to happen. And so, I don't know. I wish Mark does this shit, number one. He gets bored and he'll go on a show and say something and stir it up and keeps his name out there, keeps him relevant. And whenever he was the owner, he was doing it to manipulate either news cycles or, you know, he was doing some Trumpian stuff way before Trump learned how to do the Trumpian stuff. Like, I'm just going to say it. Like, he knew how to float shit out there and how to steer conversations and things like that. It's media savvy. I don't want to say it's Trumpian. It's just media savvy and manipulation of headlines, right? But I don't know, man. I really want to talk to Mark about this at some point because I'm in a very short list of people that can ask him the right questions, I feel, and not be, you know, an asshole about it or pointed about it. Or like, I know a lot of the things that we can talk about. And if it's him talking about them, like, I'm fine with it. And I don't know if he really wants to let some clips fly. He needs somebody on the other side that like was there, I feel, and can ask the right kind of questions. And
works for a respected media outlet.
Exactly.
With tenure in this city.
Exactly. I've invited him again. I invited him last time. He said, thanks for the invite, but I can't this week. And we've extended the offer again. So we'll see. But I don't know. It's always confusing whenever something like this comes out. Cause it's like, are you trying to make a point or is this just your next opportunity to do that thing on your to-do list, which was like, I need to start separating from these people because it's not going to go well.
Or he's just, upset, which, I wouldn't blame him in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
It could be all of those things.
He could definitely be upset about, they might have said, he might have week before had a conversation about like, hey, so I get to keep my ownership stake at 27%. And they were like,
oh, Mark.
What?
Oh, sweet Mark.
What, bud? And then this is his retort. He's like, oh, you're going to jab me. I'm going to jab you back.
Right.
I don't know. And I don't know, assuming we know the conversations that Mark is involved in, or assuming we know.
Yeah, we don't.
Like, we don't know, man. It could be for 1,000 different reasons. I know he's going to be anti whatever they're doing moving forward. And it's a good time to start separating.
Lay that groundwork. That arena's not coming for 5 years. You want to build that up.
Yes, and like I said, unless they check all those boxes, and even if they do, they could fuck that up along the way and piss more people off. And
I would say that there will definitely be stuff along the way that's made people angry.
Yeah,
and I think Mark knows that because Mark knows a lot more about this stuff than we do.
Yeah, and I respect him. The only thing worse than making a bad decision and making a humongous bad decision is not regretting it and not learning from it.
Right.
Yeah. We can't undo it. We can't hit reset. We can't do any of that. But I want somebody in that ecosystem to go, damn, we messed that one up, guys. The Mavs have done it in their actions. They haven't done it in their words. I don't know if they ever will.
No.
But that's where we're at.
Yeah.
So a team that has an opportunity to make us pretty happy come draft night with the 12th and 20th pick, the Dallas Cowboys. I can't wait to see how they mess that one up or both those up because I just have zero faith, especially this week after Jerry Jones telling George Pickens to ditch his agent. We're learning.
Well, we learned so much.
We're learning a lot.
So much from last year.
Does he think this is going to happen at some point? Like, does he think disrespecting an agent and they're just going to cower and go
knew that,
yes, sir.
That was one of those where, like, the PR notes were handed to him. It's like, just stick with this, Jerry, please, please. And then, like, he's sitting there back. He's like, we almost are through it. And then Jerry at the end just like,
Well, Machota said something, like, so funny and so right on maybe a month ago whenever some of this stuff was getting drummed up. He was like, if you don't like the answer Jerry just gave you, ask him the same question again because they'll give you a different answer. Right?
Yep.
I'm sure somebody doubled down on the George Pickens situation, and he said something along the lines of, "Whatever, we're just doing the agent bullshit with Jerry again." But I want to meet a new player. Last week we talked about my young T-Rex armed son, Rueben Bain Jr., who is an absolute badass and would be a treat as a Dallas Cowboy.
Truth.
We did Dylan Thineman. Who was you? You did Mansour.
Monsoon. Then we did the worst case scenarios thing where we talked Jeremiah Love. I talked Mekhi Lemon.
Yeah, and I'm gonna call my shot for next week, which will be Avion Terrell at 20. At 20, guys, calm down. Avion Terrell at 20. We'll preview next week, but we got one of the baddest men in college football.
I love him so much.
One of the fastest.
I promised you we were not going to get out of draft season without me talking about Sonny Styles.
Yeah, so it is Sonny Styles Day on the podcast.
Yeah, it's a great day.
Let's
indeed.
go.
For the record, you got to go up to get Sonny Styles. And when we're going to do another mock draft, last week we did it pure. We just let the board come to us. This time we're gonna try to go up because people like us, people like our pal Zach Walchuk. I think a lot of smart Cowboys people in the ecosystem are starting to realize that if you want one of those premium defenders, you probably got to do something. So this is the sort of guy you got to go up to like 6 or so to go land. Now, why do you land an off-ball linebacker in the year of our Lord 2026? Well, we're going to start with the soft stuff. We're not going to start with the hard numbers. Do you know what Sonny's given name is?
Oh, I forgot. No. No, I know who he's named after. Sonny Corleone, right?
Goddamn right he is.
Yeah, from
The Godfather. Because this is Alex is his real name.
Alex.
Alex Styles was nicknamed Sonny Styles because this dude just got pissed as a kid. And shout out to the parents for immediately going to James Caan and the greatest movie ever made. Yeah. Look, I'm a basic bitch Italian male. If you name somebody after somebody from The Godfather, I'm here. All right? This man could be terrible, and I'm here. But guess what? He's not terrible. He is awesome. Relative athletic score sometimes matters, sometimes doesn't. I think for linebackers, it can matter a lot.
Yeah.
If you're playing in space in today's game, you got to be able to move. Been going back to 1987 since I believe Kent Lee Platt is the guy who runs the show there. Shout out that guy because it's not easy work to do.
Yeah.
Going back to 1987, fourth best relative athletic score at the history of the position. Because this dude is every bit of 6'5", 245. He runs, he jumps. He is a freakazoid. And why does that matter? Well, it matters because this is a guy who was a safety. So I've been playing linebacker 2 years. A 6'5" safety like that, that's Kyle Hamilton's status right there, right? No. He doesn't stay that route. He goes the linebacker route. But if you look at his alignment and you look where he's moved around, I don't have the one tweet smoking gun that points out that I would love to show you. But there are heat maps out there, and he is all over the field. It's like a little almost U shape where he's moving because he's going sideline to sideline. He's going back into the secondary. He's cheating there. He blitzes sometimes. He had 6 sacks in 2024. Not as many this past year because I think Arvell Reese just became that guy. But there's proof of concept there, right? He's big and he's fast. He's got length. He can do a lot of stuff. So don't think Micah Parsons. Arvell Reese is the Micah Parsons decoy in this draft. But think linebacker who can be moved in a lot of ways. And the reason that matters is at some point, positional value, when you have a capital D dude, changes the math, right? It's Jeremiah Love, right? We're all sitting here, don't invest in running backs unless they're special. Well, Jeremiah Love's special, so you break some of the rules for Jeremiah Love. You could break even more rules for Sonny Styles, who's going to age better than a running back will, because the alternatives right now, after you struck out in the free agent market, it's day 2 linebacker like an Anthony Hill who does some stuff really well but isn't going to move that well. It's the trade market, or it can't be what's on this roster.
No.
It can't be just a Marvion Overshone where I don't care how exciting the flashes have been. It's still a guy with 2 ACL tears in his first 2 years in the league. That can't be the only option that passes for reliable. Can't be the dudes you brought in last offseason because we saw how that went. Can't be the cheapo trade acquisitions at the deadline like a Logan Wilson. He doesn't play football anymore. He's done. He retired. They need solutions. And a very good way to get a capital S solution is to take this guy and not worry about this shit for 10 years. Just be like, we're done. We're done here. One move, one big power move. Because he is that good and he is that exciting. And if you can erase an entire position group's problems, because it's the way I think about this is, yeah, you need another linebacker with him. But what that next linebacker is going to be asked to do is so much less. And you can invest so much less. It's one pick doing the weight of 2 jobs because it is getting you your ceiling, but is raising, but it's also lowering the floor on the other spot. You don't have to worry as much about that second linebacker position. If you have a freakazoid who you want him to go up and play in the box, great, cool. You want him to go off the edge? Sure. You want him to cover? Absolutely. You want him to go here, there, everywhere? Fine. And in a defense where we talked about this before, talent will not rule the day with what they've done this offseason. It has to be Christian Parker making some smoke and mirrors happen and making this look better than it is. Well, Caleb Downs could do that. A Dylan Thieneman could do that. We talked about those guys. We love those guys. I would not be angry at all with Caleb Downs at 6 for the record, right? But having a linebacker like that, you can do a lot of things, a lot of stuff if that guy is in the building. So to me, he is maybe the most unique talent among this group. Arvell Reese is really fascinating, but just the build and the length and the speed and the smarts that this guy has, we don't see those very often. He's just fun as shit.
Yep.
And to me, even though that's less than premium value, I think it's eye of the beholder insofar as if you have a Matt Eberflus scheme, then yeah, maybe don't do this as good as he is because you're not going to do anything fun with him. But if you have a smart guy at the controls who's creative and is doing his little hand things, going, what can I do with that? He'll find ways. And you're not getting anything close to that anywhere else, right? Even some guys like a Jake Golday, who our guy Vach Lombardi likes.
Yeah.
Good player, could do a lot for them linebacker if that's what they get. Jacob Rodriguez, Zach Walchuk loves that guy. Sonny's physical gifts are so unique. It would just be a lot of fun. And, that's the other thing too, right? If we're opening with the soft part of he's named after the Godfather, we're going to end with the soft part of I don't know if there's be another guy who I'd have more fun with. Like Delane would be incredible, but Delane I'm not going to watch half the game because he would just
he's off the screen.
Caleb Downs would be really, really fun. But just the giant man at linebacker who like runs like a deer, I would love that. I would have a great time watching that.
Yeah, I mean, if he's a Luke Kuechly, a Fred Warner, like that type of linebacker that you drop in there, and not exact copies of both those guys, but just guys that are just that's an all-pro linebacker out there. You got to deal with him every goddamn play. And if you have a smart defensive coordinator, he's now a weapon, right? You're right. If it was an Eberflus like OS defense, like just everybody on their heels, like wait for the quarterback to throw and then rally and tackle him, Sonny Styles is kind of a waste.
He could do it. I mean, he's an incredible tackler.
It's good to have guys that are running 4.3s whenever you're wrapping up and
right,
closing.
and you hit people. But yeah, it wouldn't be that fun.
It wouldn't. But dude, 6'5", in the 240s, best athlete on the field. I watched a handful of the tapes on here of the Texas game, of Wisconsin game. Miami's the only one I ever saw where I was like, oh, they figured something out with him in terms of the other team, like unlocking a little bit of run game against him. Because I don't know. I mean, hearing his story and knowing about him, his brother plays safety. He used to play safety.
Father was, I believe his father played secondary at Ohio State.
Yeah. He bulked up a little bit. He is tall as hell. And I just assume linebackers like that, like, don't really want to get in there and get in the shit in the run game.
Yeah.
And, like, take on a guard whenever they start peeling. Man, in most of these games, he's meeting the dude there, and he's long enough where he can separate and shed and get to the running back and just completely disrupt anything you're trying to do. The run concepts, like, look so simple for him to, like, mess up.
Yeah.
Miami, I need to watch a little bit more Miami because Francis got on him a couple times. And that looked like that was a real problem.
Yeah, Francis earned that top 10 money.
Just because he's nasty.
Right.
And Miami was at that point anyway because they were getting, was a Fletcher loose as much as they were. They'd unlocked something in the running game that was pretty special. And Sonny got wiped out a few times.
Mm-hmm.
But, that was a steamroller of a Miami run game that was happening at that time. So I'm not judging him too bad. But, I mean, I've loved Fred Warner for a long time. And I didn't know he was going to be quite that when he came out. I remember liking him, watching BYU, and I was like, oh, this guy can cover and he can thump. And imagine Fred Warner, maybe not as good in coverage. Let me turn that knob down a little bit, but turn the athleticism up 1.5. And I think that's probably what you're going to get with Sonny Styles.
Yeah, he's so unique, right? Because you bring up the Kuechly example. Kuechly's different in that, like, my best friend went to Boston College. Shout out to Jonathan Siegel. Hope you enjoyed the program. But I knew about Kuechly since he was a freshman.
Yeah.
Because Kuechly, legitimately, college and pro, is one of the best linebackers to play football.
He was born to play linebacker.
If you go, like, the numbers at BC were wild.
Yeah.
Because he was insanely productive. And Styles wasn't quite that, if only because he was a late convert to position, and, like, that defense had two other monsters.
Yeah, they have like 5 first-round picks.
So it's not even like a Kuechly thing. It's not even a Warner thing, but it's also just like the flip side is, like, we haven't seen a body type like this. So, like, what could he be?
Yeah.
And so it's just, when we do this mock draft exercise, it'd be interesting to see if we go up what guy we get, because even a Caleb Downs, who maybe is a better pure football player, you could summon Caleb Downs to be the best football player in the draft.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked about this. We learned this last week. A lot of safeties that you'll like in day 3, or maybe even at 20 if Thieneman's there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like a lot of these off-ball linebackers like I like this guy.
No,
I'm not as psyched.
The third round guys are fun. I'll say that the third round guys are fun for the 92nd overall player. Anthony Hill is fun, right?
Right.
Like some of those other dudes you can drop in there. I don't think J-Rod has any chance to make it a 92, but the players that are down there at off-ball linebacker, I'm like, oh, they have some nice tricks, right? But they're also guys that I'm like,
here's the hole.
You're playing, I don't know, 2/3 of the game, and Sonny is out there,
right?
Should be out there every single
down.
And
when you have an Anthony Hill who's playing 2/3 of the game, and you know what the limitations are in coverage, then your weak side guy, then it becomes very incumbent on DeMarvion Overshown to deliver.
Yeah,
really deliver.
Yeah,
Sonny can let you get away with some stuff.
Yeah, Sonny's an answer, and he can be a weapon.
Yeah,
all the other dudes, I'm like, they answer one thing. Like, if I could see Anthony Hill and Sonny Styles, same play, stretch left, get over there. They're going to blow that shit up.
Right.
Cool. All right. Play action. Anthony Hill's ankles are going to look real slow.
Yeah.
On that. And Sonny Styles, there's just not any holes in his game, man. Like, I think I don't love doing, we'll get into the mock draft here in a minute, but I don't love doing off-ball linebacker that high. That's why I literally was throwing shit when they drafted Leighton Vander Esch in the first round as high as they did. But
if he's an outlier,
you gotta be willing to take the best damn player,
right?
If he gets there. And same thing with Caleb Downs. The Caleb Downs news. I don't know if you've been listening to as many shows as I have. People are like, some teams just won't take safety that high.
Yeah, well, listen, this football team might be one of those teams for all we know.
They might be one.
And if you want to be dumb and pass up like that, then be dumb.
Yeah, whenever you're this high, top half of the first round, it's the game. It's so complicated going into a draft, but then you sit down and you look at the board and you see who's falling, and it's so simple if one of these blue chip players land in your lap. It's Micah. It's CeeDee Lamb. It's these guys you go into a draft and say, I should not have an opportunity to take a player of this caliber at this pick. It's not that fucking hard.
Right.
Do
it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's do the not that effing hard thing.
Yeah.
How about that?
I love it. Let's go.
Crank up another mock draft on the PFF simulator?
Absolutely.
All right, let's
While we still have it.
It's still here. All right, we'll do that next. All right, man. Let's just dive in.
Let's go.
Last week we sat on our hands and let the 12th pick happen to us.
We're go-getters. We're men of ambition.
Yeah, and I think we're all, as a community, kind of realizing got to get a little active in this top 10 if we want a good defensive player, because you know what? They're valuable. Like, that's a funny thing. Yeah, so
let's go full gambler here.
Tell me where you want to target. I think the Browns and the Cardinals are the two that I think are most realistic.
Yeah, we could see what the price is for Arizona. Let's see what the price is for Arizona. Cleveland's always been the one that I've kind of thought would be the deal here.
Okay, all right. So I'm going to say third pick.
Yeah, let's
I'm
go
offering
to 3.
12 and 20, which they would obviously take. I'm trying to get 34 back. Not even happening. Not even close. 65. They wouldn't even take that. Wow. Okay.
That's
that's a tough one, dude.
And I'm not in a rush to go there. I think Arizona's in a weird spot because you know that Reese, who's the really special one of the Ohio State guys, as far as positional value, he's gone.
Yeah.
I don't think there's an obvious third guy. I like where Cleveland is because I know somebody's going to fall to me there, and I don't have to make that pick of who that guy is going to be, and it's going to be cheaper. So to me, Cleveland is where I'm hoping this thing goes.
Okay, let's do 6. 12 and 20, they'd obviously take that.
Right.
They might take 6 and 24 for 12 and 20.
I mean, obviously, if you do that, you do it. I don't think there's a world in which that happens. I would gladly, though, I would take that pick in the 30s.
That 39?
39, because I have a bad view of
right,
this.
They would do that.
If I'm going general on picks, audience, just know it's because I can't actually see the
it's
level
30.
of detail.
It's 39. All right, I'm going to say 6, 39, and 70 for 12 and 20.
Let's try.
See if they'll take it. Oh, crap. Let me undo that. Sorry. My bad. Here. Just kidding, guys. Let's re-rack. I hit start draft instead of offer trade, so we can re-rack that real quick. Sorry about that. I'll edit this out.
Let's see what happens here.
639 for 12 and 20. Let's see. Offer trade. Not accepted. Okay, I'm going to take 70 off.
Take 70 off. Yeah.
Offer trade.
Okay.
All right. They got 12 and 20. We got 6 and 39. All right. So we had the 6th overall pick.
Yep.
Going to get a good player. It's going to be a good defender. Going to guarantee it. You can't.
Someone will be
get
there.
smoked out at the 6th overall pick.
Yeah, love it. Let's go.
All right, so we need to start thinking about who would be the top of our board at 6. All right, let's start this draft.
Run it.
All right, so Mendoza, Bain, Reese, Styles, Bailey. Damn, 4 defenders in a row.
Okay.
That does kind of hurt, but it's okay. It's
okay. It's fine. Because your boy is there, Big Rueben Bain. Rueben Bain. Caleb Downs is there.
Bain's gone. Bain went 2.
Oh, Bain went 2. Bain went 2.
Bain went 2.
I'm so used to looking at 3.
I know.
Because I just assume Arvell Reese is going 2. Okay, so you got the Monsoon, you got Downs.
Yeah.
You got
Downs and the Monsoon are the question.
Yeah.
Jeremiah Love's obviously there, but you didn't trade up to take Jeremiah Love. I think you got to take Downs.
I agree. As much as I love Mansour. And, like, again, we have talked about this. Like, it's a deal where you'll get safeties later, but with respect to all these other guys, Caleb Downs is so different, and he fits exactly what Christian Parker knows. You know, I think the quote that just came out the other day from Cowboys media availability was that secondary is his superpower. So go give that man his chess piece. I say Caleb Downs.
I think when we're going to draft Caleb Downs, I think by adding Caleb Downs to Jalen Thompson, I think you might have, in a year or two, the best safety pairing in the NFC pretty quickly. I think those guys have that potential. And then, I don't know, it just unlocks everything to have a player like that. So, fun toy to add to the defense. Caleb Downs, 6th overall pick to your Dallas Cowboys. All right, we're down at 39. Let's sift through this. This is a position I haven't been in a ton.
Right.
Interior defenders, Kristen Miller out of Georgia, Lee Hunter, Zion Young, hello, like that. Cisse, Pons, the tiny corner from Indiana.
That dude
Chris Bell, who I love. J-Rod in the house. Okay. Chris Johnson also in the house at 39.
Like that. All right, so this is there's a lot of stuff here that's interesting.
Okay, so it's getting down to Zion Young, J-Rod, or Chris Johnson.
You're for sure Johnson over Cisse.
Yeah, I'm for sure Johnson over Cisse. Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. So to me, it really, I mean, I might be being an idiot and not saying Chris Johnson is in this mix. J-Rod, which I don't know. Chris Johnson should probably be in this mix.
Probably.
That's a tough one, dude. That's a tough one. Zion Young is also a badass, man. That's tough, dude.
That'll work. This is what we call a good problem to have. And this is also a thing where, like, let's say you're Dallas' scenario. you might try to go back a few more spots and pick up something else.
Yeah,
you like your options here.
I like all these guys. Let's see what trade's being offered to us. The Saints are knocking on the door for 42.
And what are they?
Let's see. They want, let's say 42 for 39. Give me 73. Not accepted. Okay, 132. I don't really want a bunch of late picks. Sorry. Number one, because we're not drafting that late in this sim. So,
look, my thought is, if we're not going back somewhere, my thought is, as fun as a Zion Young is, I think the gap between J-Rod and the rest of these linebackers is pretty steep.
Probably, yeah.
I don't love what the options will be at 92.
Okay.
I think J-Rod does a lot of stuff. You don't know. Watch last week's episode. Zach Walchuk will get you up to speed.
Yeah.
And I mean, your back seven suddenly looks a lot better.
Yeah.
And and we did this last week.
You're not wrong.
I think there will be corners in that 3rd-4 range.
I would, if I was just like anonymous GM, I would take Chris Johnson.
I can't blame you.
For them, I don't know if that's the best pick. Like, you're not supposed to draft for need, but whenever it's like right on the edge, if you think the players are the same, and I could see Jacob Rodriguez playing 700 snaps next year at middle linebacker for the Dallas Cowboys and having a real impact, and Chris Johnson is going to be fighting for outside, because I don't think he's a slot in any way. And you just drafted a guy you probably want to roll into the slot every once in a while.
Sometimes, yeah, because they made it clear they don't want Bland playing slot.
Yeah.
Even if that's what he does.
Right.
So I'm not against getting another corner, right? Last week we got Ephesians Pricesock in the mid-round, so it's nice value. I don't know what you do at linebacker, what you can bank on if you don't do this now.
All right, let's do J-Rod.
Yeah.
I'm sold. Jacob Rodriguez off the board.
It's going well.
At pick 39. Anthony Hill, top guy.
The irony.
92 overall. Anthony Hill is the top-rated player. Garrett Nussmeier, Rashawn Benny, Logan Jones, Drew Aller, Ted Hurst, Genesis
There's
Smith.
no way in hell Drew Aller is going that early. That's hilarious.
Jonah Coleman, Malachi
A lot of stuff here that's not that fun.
Yeah, I don't mind Keyshawn Elliott. Zakee Wheatley, if we didn't already take
we could go back to Malik Muhammad from last week.
That's true, yeah.
This would be a good time for Malik Muhammad.
The Corleone, Anthony Lucas,
you want
Proctor. Okay, all right, we got to have a discussion here. Do we need 2 linebackers?
I mean, those are both kind of, well, I guess J-Rod's more of a will, isn't he?
Yeah.
I mean,
you can you can fix it. You can fix it. I love Ted Hurst too. If I had any balls, I'd be arguing for Ted Hurst right now.
No.
Come on, man, have some fun. Genesis Smith, I don't know how much he plays. Now that Caleb is in the fold. That's the thing. I love all these mid-round safeties. I'm falling in love with all of them.
No, and that's the best argument, and the only real argument against Caleb is like there will be safeties. There won't be that though.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Markel Bell's also there.
And we talked about Markel Bell. He's so huge. I just don't know how. I don't know if I want to bank on that dude being a real swing versus just he's a right tackle.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I'm either saying Malik. I'm either going long. I'm going Longhorn here.
You know what, dude? You sold me. Let's just double tap linebacker.
Let's go for it.
Yeah,
Anthony Hill
like
Jr.
Going.
Welcome to the squad, big boy. Not a long way to travel. Here we go. All right, and we're gonna do 112 just because I wanted to.
We won't go as deep as we did last time.
Kashawn Elliott's still there. 2 spare quarterbacks.
Triple tap linebacker.
Will Lee. These guys. Bud Clark. I'm listening on Bud Clark at 112. Absolutely.
Bud Clark's fun at 112.
C.J. Daniels, Xavier Harris, Mikael Kamara, Cage Casey, my guy.
Your dude.
Taco Davis.
Now this is the spot where, like, if there's a pet cat at edge, that's where you could do it.
Yeah, I don't see any on
and
here.
And that's the problem. That's,
we didn't do anything on edge.
And this is
what nothing on
we have talked about before. They, with what they're doing right now, cannot plug all the holes. Yeah. Something is getting sacrificed.
Yeah. Nadame Tucker is still there. I want to see who the edge guys are, because if Caden Curry's still there, I will take Caden Curry. Let's see, edge player, Kamara, Sapp, Caden Curry. I will take Caden Curry, but
we talked about this last week. Because they're like way late.
Yeah, it's silly. I think the simulator just doesn't know who Caden Curry is.
They like Drew Aller too much, and Caden Curry
Carson Beck and Drew Aller too high.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, I'd probably take. So I don't think Caden Curry's sitting there that long. I would take Bud Clark or Cage Casey. You want another fun tool in the secondary, or do you want a left tackle eventually? A guy that could probably take Tyler Guyton's job next year.
Yeah, I mean, it's God. I mean, I'll put it this way. My heart says I want to take Bud Clark because I think Bud Clark's really good.
Yeah.
My brain says if I'm doubling up at linebacker and safety. I don't care. I don't care how good these linebackers and safeties are. I probably didn't do something right. So you just go swing tackle. I think is how I'd go with this.
All right. I'm gonna promise you it's not a bad investment on Cage Casey.
Right.
All right, let's give Cage Casey. Here we go. Here is what we're taking home. They didn't like that we took Caleb Downs and Ramon Sordelane. What do you guys know? You're going out of business. Caleb Downs, 6 overall. Bang, bang. J-Rod, 39th overall. Anthony Hill, the Texas linebacker. Double tap the linebacker unit. Don't got to worry about it now, guys.
Yeah, no. Back 7 is doing a lot better.
Quick calling about Jordan Brooks. Don't worry about it. Our linebackers are solved. And then Cage Casey, who's going to be the starting left or right tackle in a year or two. That's a crop. That's a mighty fine crop.
I'm
into
this.
One.
I'm into this.
All right. Well, see, we talked about it last week with the safeties. That's the only thing that gives me any pause on Caleb Downs is Zakee Wheatley's pretty nice.
Yeah, there's all these safeties, which is why like the trade scenario we didn't do is you go to New Orleans at 8.
Yeah.
And you just say we're taking Delane.
Yeah.
And it's cheaper. Mm-hmm. You get Delane, you go safety in the 2 through 4 range somewhere in there, and that's not a bad plan. Like really, there are a half dozen defenders. You just got to get one of them, and it's gonna help.
Yeah,
I don't know how you get one of them. You got to get one of them.
Yeah,
and any of that is a good outcome. So
let's just see what happens at 12 right here. Delane, okay.
I just don't buy it. I just don't buy it.
Delane's there.
I would do backflips if he was there. And the wild card. You have 2 wild cards in front of you, right? Since he does wild stuff, Miami needs everything. Mm-hmm. So, like, I look at this and I say, Miami taking Mekhi Lemon, sure. But they could just take a corner. Anything is in play there.
The thing I really worry about, if you're getting into sequencing events and game theory this thing out, is that I think Miami, knowing that they are on a full rebuild, I think they really, really want to take an offensive lineman. I think they really, really want to take an offensive lineman. In this scenario, Francis Mauigo is gone, and Spencer Fano are gone, and there's not a lineman that you need to take in there. Freeling might be still in here. Yeah, Monroe Freeling's still there. But if they don't, then Miami can start dipping into your defensive player pool, and that messes up everything. Because I don't know if they take Mekhi Lemon at 11. Like,
where did Carnell Tate go?
Carnell Tate is 6 to the Browns.
Okay, so I think like what the Cowboys need in some form or fashion, you need, and this draft played it out, you basically need 4 combined offensive linemen and receivers off that board.
Yep.
Or, because what else is on the board after Delane, right? It's
Thieneman, it is Monroe Freeling, Sadiq,
right. So
Ione.
So there you go. Yeah. You need, in terms of what realistically could go, you need 4 total receivers or offensive linemen off that board to stay at 12 and feel like you're getting a defender.
Yeah.
And it's possible, but it's a real dice roll.
I mean, maybe the Jermod McCoy Pro Day gives you the slightest bit of insulation that there is a player that you're comfortable with again. If you get smoked out there,
I would not be the ones in that train, but we know this team has never been scared to take an ACL in.
And the people I listen to, I'm trying to find people that hate Jermod McCoy, but a lot of people have him
it's
CB1, and then we'll say, yeah, but the injury, and I don't think the Cowboys will take him.
Well, and it's also, too, like, we talk about the injury aspect. The other thing, too, is, like, we haven't seen him play football.
Yeah.
Like, it's all great that he has awesome sophomore tape. There are guys who put bad junior tape out there.
Oh, yeah.
So this idea that suddenly
all of the quarterbacks this year.
Yeah. So the idea that we're suddenly just getting that guy because he took a year off with a major injury, like, dude, I can't roll those dice. If he somehow got to 20, then we'll talk. But I'm not doing that at 12.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the most interesting spots right in front of you, I think, like I said, Miami could really mess up your plans if they get smoked out. Because I think they really, really want just hey, we're not going to be good for 2 to 3 years. We know that. Like, just give me a guy that's not going to be fired. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, just give me a left
Monroe
guard.
Freeland.
No, yeah, give me a guy that I can bump out to left tackle and right tackle whenever we're taking, Julian Sayin 2 years from now.
Yeah.
But if they get smoked out with the tackles, anything's on the board because they are just a blank slate of stuff.
You can do anything. And so that's why I see Mekhi Lemon there. I'm like, sure, fine, you can.
Yeah.
They have nobody to throw the ball to.
Yeah.
I mean, the argument, too, for like, if you want to know if Malik Willis is worth your money, you got to give him somebody to actually give him a chance at the passing game.
Yeah, and the trade back is always there, man. But I think you got to sit. You either got to move up Man, I don't know if New Orleans will trade with you. I don't know if
Kansas City
City would trade with you, but I mean, you got to be in there, dude.
Yeah, like Kansas City is in such a great spot.
They really are.
They could just sit and wait, and they know something's getting there.
Mm-hmm.
God, yeah, that's too perfect for them.
Yeah. All right, well, that was fun. Pretty nifty little draft there, getting our linebacker situation solved with.
We do. And we got a pretty nifty little guest.
We do.
Bobby Karalla.
One of my best friends in the whole world, and just I think one of the people I admire most when talking hoops. Bobby Karalla of DLLS will be on the show next, talking all things Mavs, Luka, Cuban comments, and of course Cooper Flag. So stick around. Welcome back. It's StrongSide episode 21. I'm Mike. He is still Mike Palucci. And look who it is. It's just like old times, man.
There he is.
One of my best buds in the world, Bobby Karalla of DLLS Sports, head of content.
Grand Poobah.
Yeah, on the All City Network. In the house, man. This feels right. How are you? Great to see you. I miss you. I love you. All of that stuff.
Oh, I miss you and I love you too.
Oh,
Mike.
thank you.
Mike. Thanks
also,
for having me.
very fond of you.
Okay.
Love you dearly.
Oh, and I love you as well.
You not as much as you guys love each other, but we're all in a fantasy league.
It's not
together.
a
We go
contest.
back.
No one's measuring.
It's not a contest. Oh, we're all measuring. But yeah, I'm doing well. I'm very, very excited for 2 weeks from today, whenever the season is but a distant memory. And in the meantime, we're just making it through one day at a time.
I feel that in my bones. Yeah, man, you're probably the most knowledgeable and biggest basketball brain that I get a chance to spend time with frequently. I'm not saying you're the smartest person on earth, but you're the person that will actually engage with me on this front. So, Pi has been. Let me declare our stance first, okay? Pi has been a casual.
A little more casual, but I can check it out when I need to check it out. Yeah. If I know that we're heading towards, say, the longest home losing streak since the 90s, I can go, yeah, we're done here. Don't need to be paying attention to this for a little while.
Can't blame you.
Yeah.
And I think you know my stance is you're going to take a lap for 1 calendar year, and then we'll check back. We'll see you. Yeah. We'll see you maybe I don't know, this summer at some point, and I'll maybe experience the Cooper Flag ride next season whenever there's some more players that I like on board, and just the feelings aren't as bad. But you sit through this thing about how many times a week? Talking about it and watching it and just kind of rolling around in the wake of what happened. So how's this been, man?
It has been, I don't want to just start off on such a sour note, but this is my 13th season covering the team. And I've missed probably 10 Mavs games in the last 20 years. So I've spent a lot of my life and money on this team. And this season has easily been, now I wasn't around in 92, 93, or 93, 94. They won 24 games combined in 2 years.
Yeah, it wasn't the
They've
best.
won 24 games already this year, so I can only imagine.
Yeah.
But this has been the most uninspired and uninteresting season, the most listless season that I can remember. There's just a lot of what is the point? If you think about it in totality, right? The most exciting thing that happened this season was when the GM got fired in early November, which was almost 5 months ago.
They should have saved that for maybe one more month.
Keep it for the second act.
Like a Christmas present.
It would just been stuck at the denouement for 5 months now. And
what a word you just dropped in there.
Thank you. But it is
you truly are on with T Magazine.
There is just no Kyrie, barely any AD, and now he's gone. It's been Coop playing out there with a bunch of guys that don't shoot, a bunch of guys that can't pass or dribble. The basketball, like I said, it's just uninteresting. They've been bottom 5 in offense all year. They have flashes every now and then, but for the most part, it's been a lot of 106 to 94. And that is it's not fun to watch. If you're going to suck, at least be interesting.
Yeah.
And they're just not interesting. And so it's been really difficult. I don't blame either of you for kind of saying, I'll be back next year.
Yeah, it's It has the vibe of one of those TV shows that's been around for a while, and they're trying to throw in some new characters, but they're not sticking. Like, we had 3 weeks of Ryan Nembhard being a thing, and everybody's like, Ryan Nembhard.
It was awesome.
Like, it was a lot of fun, and it was also never going to last. And then now, like, and I admit that, like, I'm getting into the Marvin Bagley experience. I'm like, could this be redemption for Marvin Bagley? This is not what you talk about with a healthy, interesting basketball team.
Yeah.
No disrespect to Marvin, who I hope sticks around because he's been a good soldier and a good player. And we're going to have a story on him this week at tmagazine.com. But yeah, it's just very much even there aren't subplots. There's one big plot, which we should talk about the big plot, which is, I guess there's two, right? There's tanking, but it's really Cooper. So let's talk about the fun thing before we get a little dark on here. We all had expectations. What were yours, and how has the actual experience of watching this guy the whole season been relative to what you thought it was going to be going in?
That part has been, as I say, it's been such an uninteresting season, but Coop has been really interesting because I have never really been of the opinion that he is like your guy, like the alpha offensive guy. I think he's good at everything, and he is the ultimate second or third guy. You know, like he's like better than Draymond, obviously offensively.
Yeah.
I don't know if he'll ever beat Draymond as like a generational defender, but Coop is the kind of guy that can impact every single possession at both ends of the floor in one way or another. I don't think that you need to run everything through him offensively. So I think you pair him with the badass scorer. Now all of a sudden, okay, now you got your guy that can get you 25. You got your guy that can get you 20 and also block shots and steal and get out in open transition and you know, throw down dunks and get stops and everything. So, you know, what has been interesting as the season has unfolded is at the beginning of the year, AD is healthy and they're starting Klay Thompson and the offense is so slow and so stagnant. And Coop's barely getting any touches. It's a lot of turnovers. There are games where he finishes in single-digit scoring. AD gets hurt. Ryan Nembhard appears from out of nowhere. And then Coop just goes on this tear for like a month and a half where he's averaging 25 a game. And I'm thinking, okay, I was way wrong about this guy. Like, he can average 25, and if he gets a jump shot, he'll average 30. And maybe he still will one day. Like, maybe he is Giannis. I don't know. There's a chance he is. But his numbers this year with a point guard, so with Nembhard or with Brandon Williams or with even D'Angelo Russell.
Someone with a baseline competence at the position.
Can you dribble the ball? Can you bring it up the floor?
And is the ball literally not super glued to your hands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not can you shoot, not can you create your shot. Literally just can you dribble the ball and let him catch it in a situation where he can do something? He's shooting 56% on twos when one of those guys is on the floor. He's shooting sub 45 on twos whenever none of those guys is on the floor. So without a point guard, he has just not been able to do anything, even in the lane, even at the rim, because there's just no space. There's no shooting. So it's been really difficult to judge his offense because of those kind of shortcomings that are baked into the team, to the roster, these unavoidable things. But he is an absolute stud on defense. Like, if you go up soft, he is going to come out from out of nowhere and block it out of bounds, you know, and then he's also going to get out in transition, beat everyone down the floor and throw it down, you know, and he's going to roar, he's going to growl, you know, he's not slapping the floor, but like he'll dig in on defense. Like he brings the juice in a way that, you know, at both ends in a way that I haven't seen from a Mav player in a really long time, if ever, honestly. And so he's the kind of guy that you can build around no matter what way you want to go. You know, he can fit in with any kind of plan. So they need to find the guy that makes the plan, or the person that makes the plan, and then, you know, build around him that way. But I don't think that he needs to be your Giannis right now. I think that he can just be a dude right now, and then let's figure out what he is in a couple years.
Yeah. As a guy that spent a lot of nights at the American Airlines Center watching DeAndre Jordan, Wesley Matthews, and KP show up in suits the last half of the season during rookie year Luka, how would you compare those two, and I guess their effect on, because at Coop, I think it's so difficult for me, even when I do like catch stuff, I'm like, well, what is he on a good team? You know, and Luka was kind of like the same practice for us. Like, we thought he was pretty special, and there was some cool stuff, but Dennis is in there, like, jamming things up, and it just wasn't built around him, right? And so the extrapolating that out forward was so difficult. And I feel like I don't know if you feel like you're in the same spot with Coop at this moment, but how would you compare the rookie years of those two?
I think rookie Luka, even despite not producing 30 a game or whatever, it was still very obvious that he needs the ball all the time. Like, every possession where he doesn't touch the ball is a waste of time, frankly. Even at that age, and even with his kind of dusty team. You know?
Yeah.
And the Mavs ended up playing slow pace forever with Luka until the year they went to the finals, and they were like, all right, we don't want to do that anymore. We'll pack it up and try something different. But Luka needed the ball a lot more, and so you could see it plain as day that like this guy's floor is Manu Ginobili. Like he's going to average 18 a game for the rest of his life, no matter what he does, and also make everybody better all the time. And then he became even better year 2. Like year 2 Luka, oh my. You remember the first week of that season?
Yeah.
I can't believe
it was just ridiculous. I mean, like we've talked about this with a few different guests, but like the Luka stat that everybody just seems to forget whenever they make these comparisons is like, and it's a simple one, 5 all first team NBAs. And it starts year 2. It goes from, hey, that's a pretty fun rookie year, to, oh, he's one of the 5 best guys in the league already. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
And he was that way on opening night. Like it was just, it was spectacular. And so maybe there is a leap coming for Coop. But as far as rookie year goes, it was so obvious that Luka is an offensive guy and that he is your point guard. Give him the ball all the time and get out of the way. You know, let him be James Harden basically and kind of do his own thing too. And there was this sort of magical imagination capturing element to him. You know, the step back 3 and just all of the, you know, the smiles and the no look passes and stuff. Like it just felt very like fun. Coop, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but Coop's game isn't like fun yet. It's just, he's just like a dog, you know, it's this mentality. He's going to go to the rim, battering ram his way into the lane. He's going to get knocked down, probably won't get a foul call, but he's still going to get up and like block that weak shit, you know, and that is awesome.
Yeah. That
That is awesome. Because that is an attitude that is contagious. Just like Luka's fun having was contagious, Coop's no nonsense, like I'm not going to let this happen, is also contagious. And so now I'm thinking, okay, the year 2 for Coop is not maybe he's going to take a huge leap. It's that the team is going to be tweaked around him to where there's going to be 3 hims. Like imagine this team is just manic, get after it at both ends of the floor, flying around, turnovers, getting out and running, alley-oops, dunks, roars, growls. Just this like cocky demeanor, you know. I think that's really cool. Like that's an ethos that I could get behind. But his rookie year has been more about learning that attitude more than like his skill set. And I'm not thinking so much about what is possible for him as much as I am of like how can what he has become the whole team's identity, and who else fits with that.
You got any patience for these Con Knippel should be rookie of the year arguments, or is this just completely fugazi?
I don't care about awards. I don't care about awards at all. But I mean, Con has played more games, probably, right?
Yeah.
And he's having a really good year, so whatever. I do think though, if at the end of Coop's career, or really if at any point during his career, we're thinking, oh man, that rookie of the year award really did matter, then he is not the kind of player that I think he is. You know, I think 5 years from now we're gonna be like, who even cares? Who cares? Like by then he's already gonna made several All-Star teams, a couple All-NBAs, probably an All-Defense. So yeah, no one needs that. Remember, Devontae Graham won Most Improved Player one year. Remember that?
Yep.
Did he? I think he did.
I think that tracks.
Maybe it was. Yeah, it's like okay, cool, sweet. You know, like who cares? Who cares? We all know who's better. You know, so I doesn't really bother me at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So they've done the hard part, whether it was complete luck or not, and get a really good player that I think people will consider a top 10 asset in the league, maybe even higher. I don't know if you want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. But that part is in place. I'm interested to see where you think he lines up in terms of if I could build around anybody moving forward. But specifically for the Mavs, I know you spend way too much time thinking about this, and hours of the day and your weekend and your free time you're thinking about, ooh, this guy would look nice next to Coop next year, or if we could get this type of player, what would be your big idea plan to build the team around Cooper Flagg?
As far as what's attainable, or just like qualities of guys? Like you want me to name names?
Give me specifics. Yeah.
Okay.
Who's
okay?
Who in the next couple of years do you see being the best fit?
So offensively, if Kyrie's gonna be on the team, which I think he is, your offense is fine. I don't care. Like offense solved. Defensively, let's talk. So they need a guy that is going to harass people at the point of attack, because if you have, it seems like they're committed to just having a tall guy back there no matter what, whether it's Gafford or Lively or hopefully Moussa Cisse. I love him back there. And you have Coop lurking on the weak side. If you just give me someone that can stay with a guy and force him to take an extra dribble or two, they're not getting a shot off in the lane. It's just not happening. So I'm looking specifically at OKC. They are about to have a
Shea,
bunch of dudes.
good call.
Yeah, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
Yeah,
Just add him.
Bring
you're
the
fine.
GM over.
Yeah.
Bring Presti and Shea.
Make it a trade.
It's pretty easy.
The Celtics and Buffalo Braves actually did that one time.
Yeah.
They traded franchises and also Tiny Nate Archibald for some reason. It's
know.
possible.
Yeah.
But they are about to have a very bloated payroll. And they got two guys. They got Lou Dort. They got Alex Caruso. Lou Dort. I hope it's not him. But one of those two guys, very expendable, and they fit very neatly into this trade exception that the Mavs made in the AD trade. You give me one of those guys, that's another kind of like psychomaniac freak on defense.
Yeah.
A little physicality, a little, creating steals, creating live ball situations. And now you're cooking a little bit. Like, I think that they're a lot closer to being a play-in borderline top 6 team, just with Kyrie coming back and with getting one of those two guys. But that is the kind of team that I want. I want a Caruso or a Dort or both. I want a Derek White. I want even an Andrew Nembhard is, not the level of defender that those guys are, but he can at least like make something happen a little bit and create his own shot. Like I just want someone that is going to just add a little bit of sprinkle a little bit of chaos on top of the defense and specifically at the point of attack and make something happen, because you got Kyrie coming back this year. And I have watched VJ Edgecombe. I have watched Shaedon Sharp. I have watched Tyrese Maxey many times. I've watched Darius Garland cook the Mavs this year. They need someone to take that job off of Kyrie's hands next year, staying in front of those guys. Kyrie cannot do that anymore. That just can't happen.
I'm trying to think of the last really good point of attack defender they've had here, period.
Derek Jones. He was fantastic.
I guess.
He was fantastic. Now, offensively, he was kind of limited.
Sure.
But defensively, he was everything they need. Great at dodging screens, great at making things happen, and then also fit well with their star players' kind of strengths and weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Do you buy that there is anybody else in this roster right now who has to be around for the next phase of Cooper Flagg's development?
How long is that?
Let's just say the next 3 years.
Depending on the deal, Max Christie, I think he's got some room, and I also think that his numbers without point guards are bad enough to where you could probably get him a little cheaper. Maybe he's worth. Because when guards are on the floor, his 3-point numbers are way better. Whenever Coop or Najee Marshall is your point guard, he's shooting awful. Like he's been like
gonna happen,
sub 35, sub 30% shooting for a while now, because the quality of looks he's getting are just atrocious. And there's no like consistent sort of elements to that. Otherwise, Musa. But I like him again because he's just chaotic. Coop is chaotic. Like I want kind of some freakazoids out there, And so I don't think that he's going to start or even be a backup. But like as a third energy big, throw it in there whenever the game is getting a little weird. Like hell yeah, dude. But otherwise, no.
Yeah, I don't think they had the patience for this, number one, or they don't have the GM in place because they're doing the co-GM thing for a little while. But whenever you start a hardcore rebuild like this, there's always those pieces that are just kind of like still there. Like, what am I doing in this picture kind of guys? PJ, Gaff, obviously Middleton was an acquisition.
Is Derek Lively in that conversation? I know that's a sore subject for me.
Let's talk about it.
Oh my God.
What happens to those guys that were specifically built around a Luka-led team that make a lot of money? Live doesn't make, huge numbers yet, or I don't know if he ever will, but those guys that are still here under contract, the second you make that trade, their value gets nerfed to like 0.75%, right?
Yes.
How do you handle stuff like that? How would you go about PJ, Gaff? I mean, Kyrie was on my list of guys that I was like, I don't know if you need to be here, bud, but it seems like they have a different feeling about it, or at least are signaling a different feeling about it. What's to be done with this husk of this team that was built around Luka that still remains?
I would hope they keep Kyrie just because I want to see them play together, and I think that the offense would be very dynamic just by adding him. With PJ, it's tough, man. And with Gaff, I think it's a little easier. You just look around the league and say, who needs a center? Mm-hmm. There's one in LA that could really use a center real bad, and you're just going to have to suck it up and say, give us your pick. Give us your 2031 pick or whatever for Gaff and Rui Hachimura or whatever, and just get it over with. Just send Gaff, let him reunite with Luka. I don't know that there's any other team that's going to look at him and say, we could really use an $18 million a year big man.
Mm-hmm.
With PJ, it's tough because you're right. His value probably in the gutter right now. Granted, the last couple weeks he's played well, but he's playing a lot of 5 the last couple weeks. And he's playing some 4 whenever Coop's off the floor. Whenever he's on the floor at the same time as Coop, they're so redundant that it's – and PJ obviously is going to be the afterthought because you're going to lean more toward the number 1 pick. So you're probably dealing from a position of weakness with him. I think, though, he was so good last year and was so good the year before and had a lot of good times in Charlotte and has had some good stretches this year to where it's not like you're having to pay someone to take him off you. I just think that if you would have traded him over the summer, you probably get multiple first-round picks for him. You trade him now, you might not get any. It might just be trade him for a guy. But even at that point, I'm still probably doing it just because I think he's just too redundant with Coop.
Yeah.
They occupy a lot of the same spaces. He's not good as just a catch-and-shoot guy. And the Mavs don't, right now at least, put enough pressure on the defense in the way that Luka did to where there's closeouts to attack. Right now, PJ catches the ball in the corner. I'll let you shoot, whatever, you know. And even if they do close out, he's driving around them, and there's another helper there because there's just no other shooting. So he's just not a very good fit with the personnel right now. If you tweak it a little bit, maybe he is. But the best way to tweak it a lot of it is to trade him for a guy that fits with Coop better. And the same with Gafford. And if you add those 2 salaries together, you can afford a pretty expensive player. And there are probably a lot of expensive players that'll be available this summer.
Yeah, and it's neither of them, it's their fault. Like, they came here and they evolved into their roles of what needed to be next to Luka. And both of them got really good at it.
Yeah.
And then that's gone. We're playing a completely different style of basketball. And you don't get that many lobs right now. Gaff, PJ, you're not closing out and bullying somebody. Like, those guys are just destined to be, like, I don't know, mid-level starting center on an okay team. And for PJ, it feels like he's going to go back to his life as a second-best player on a non-playoff Eastern Conference team somewhere. And it's like, remember those times we went to the finals and that was so cool?
Well, okay, here's one. Isaiah Hartenstein, apparently, I mean, I've heard, and I know other people who've heard the same thing. I don't think he's going to be in OKC next year for numerous reasons. OKC could use Daniel Gafford.
Yeah.
OKC could probably use PJ Washington. So maybe you figure something out there. You know, you just got to try and be a little creative, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah. I know you got a couple dudes, so we can start the psyop early. Early draft feelings. Who are you? Who's your guy? Who are you? I mean, obviously the lottery's gonna have a lot to say with it, but you know, realistically, if we're 5 or 6, who's your guy?
That's tough because if they stay at 6 right now, you're not getting Caleb Wilson. You're definitely not getting DeBonsa, and those are the 2 guys that I like the most, just because Caleb Wilson is just a turbo dog, you know. And I think him and Coop would be pretty nasty. And DeBonsa can, in theory, at least fill that scoring role, just that wing scorer alongside Coop, to where they just complement each other very well. Right now, at 6, it's probably looking like by then Peterson's gone for sure.
Yep.
Boozer's gone for sure, although I don't really like Boozer for the Mavs. It's a lot of guards. I don't really think that they need to take a guard unless they really like a guy, you know. So if I'm Dallas and I'm at 6 and someone at 11 really needs a guard and I can trade down to 11 and get like Lendeborg, for example, pick up another pick. Like, I like the idea of Lendeborg. Granted, I just said PJ's a bad fit with Coop, and Lendeborg does kind of remind me a little bit of PJ, so maybe that's a bad idea. But I really still value wings and I value shooting. Some of these guards can shoot, but a lot of them are 6'3". Or 6'2".
Keaton Wagler, taller than that.
Keaton Wagler is now. I don't know if he's going to be there. I think he's climbing. Like,
well, again, if it's 5 and 6, and you just said that there's no DeBonsa, there's no Peterson, there's no Wilson.
Maybe he's there, right? But maybe it's Fleming's there. Maybe Wagler goes 5.
I'm very Darius Acuff pilled.
Okay.
I'm intentionally choosing not to watch any defensive film at all.
Yeah, and see, so that's like I'm not that I'm out on him, but for them, I am out. You know.
See, well, so I value Sam Vecini's opinion a lot. Go back with the guy, the great star the Athletic minted. That dude watches a lot of ball. He said that he thinks Acuff is the most polished freshman guard he's ever seen on offense.
Dude, he is unbelievable.
And
he's unbelievable.
Right.
But they have Kyrie. Now, if you draft Acuff and then trade Kyrie, then
or,
you know.
Sure, or you give it a year. We're talking about, I'm not letting soon-to-be 34-year-old Kyrie Irving off an ACL tear scare me away from a guy who isn't just a floor general and isn't just a really complete scorer at that age, but a guy who's both. I'm not letting 34-year-old Kyrie deter me from that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's totally fair. That's totally fair. Because whether Kyrie retires in 2 years or 3 years, or they let his contract expire, eventually they're going to need a guard. They're going to be right back in the same situation. So I mean, it makes sense to want one. It's just tough. Like, this whole exercise is really complicated and kind of like insanity inducing, because usually going into an offseason, you kind of know, okay, based on the current GM's past decisions, I can kind of figure out I can assume and deduce what they're going to do. I don't know who the GM is going to be.
Right.
I don't know. They've had a lame duck co-GMs for a while now. I don't know that Kyrie's going to be on the team.
Sure.
I don't know that Najee and Max Christie, who are up for extensions, and Derek Lively, who's up for extensions, are going to be re-signed or traded or just kind of figure it out themselves. I don't know if any of these guys are coming back. So it really is it's somewhat of a blank slate.
It is. I mean, I suppose the good news is that because Cooper is so malleable, you can talk yourself into just about any type of talent.
Yeah, you really can.
Yeah, and I mean, to me, as long as they wind up top 7, I don't think you can go badly. I think there will be something really interesting, and none of the rest of this roster is nailed down. So, sure, if it is a guard, like, I'm with you that ideally you want a scoring wing. Those are just the toughest commodities to find. But, okay, put a guard in there. It's not like if the guardrail is Kyrie and nothing else, and we saw how bad that, even if Kyrie sticks around, right, having 48 minutes of real playmaking, given what you just talked about with those stats when Cooper has actual distribution, sure, so it'll be fine. You and I were at a little Mavs media luncheon yesterday.
We were.
A lot of it we are not allowed to talk about.
We're not.
We are not. But the general vibe is that the Mavs were bullish about fans coming back. They gave us some numbers about their ticket sales, seemed to promote some optimism. Okay. You are tapped into this fan base. You talk to folks every day when you were on air in this fan base. I don't doubt that it's a bit better than it was a year ago. But where, with your pulse on where things are, how much is the fan base back versus this time last year? How far does it have to go? And what actually has to happen for that to really get back to what a Mavs energized fan base needs to look like, besides the obvious, winning cures some stuff?
I think that there is Cuban kind of screwed it yesterday on that pod, because I was going to say I think there's less anger now about the trade, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
Dude, when
That's
Tom Leppert invites you on a podcast, you just got to show
up. You gotta do it, dude. You expect me to skip that show? Come on.
You got to act normal on a Tom Leppert podcast?
Dude, I mean,
not me.
You got to let him hang, dude.
They need the clicks.
So now there's a lot of anger, but what I was initially going to say is that I think a lot of the anger has been replaced by either apathy or by a different form of anger, where coming into the season, the Mavs were so sure that they were like way ahead of the curve, that they're zagging where everyone else is zigging or whatever. And we got this jumbo team. We're going to be a top 3 defense in the league. D'Lo, problem. I like you with the chip on your shoulder. Klay Thompson, talking about watching finals rerun highlights and stuff. We got plans to do something special. Coop, that sort of like cocky side-eye to Nico during the his press conference, like there was such this like element of hubris before the season. I think a lot of fans were eating that shit up, and they saw it themselves. Fans believed it themselves that defense is the way to go. This team is going to be a bunch of bullies. They're going to be incredible. Like, the West ain't ready for this. OKC, they're a bunch of shrimps. The Mavs are going to win the final. Kyrie's going to come back in January. This thing is going to set it off. Meanwhile, I'm like sitting there like a scientist watching this meteor come to Earth, and I'm like, someone gonna do something about this? Like, what is happening right now? Like, do y'all not see this? And so I think now, again, they fired Nico in November 11th or whatever, November 12th, and I think fans kind of feel like they got sort of swindled a little bit. They're like, what did you sell me? Like, this is an absolute joke. Like, you guys lied. And so I think
the ones that bought back in then got turned on. Right?
Yeah.
So you pissed off everybody.
Yeah, and so I think everyone is just
the buyout crowd and the buy-in crowd.
Yeah, and I wanted to buy in, but I'm like, this idea sucks. Like, this is not going to work out.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people like me too. And so I think everyone is just kind of upset and just sort of unhappy at best, apathetic at worst. And apathy is worse than anger, because you can win back people that are angry.
Right.
People that don't care, dude.
Good luck, man.
I'm drifting off during these games all the time now. Like, I can't sit here and tell you guys, yeah, you really should watch these last few games of the year. You should go see Coop. I can't do it. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't recommend it to anyone right now. And so, it's hard to make people care. It's hard to create that buy-in. So I think that they've got to. I don't think flat ticket sales are going to do that necessarily, or flat ticket prices. I think it will help retain people because I think everyone can sort of see, next year is probably going to be better than this year. This year was awful.
Right.
There's almost no way it'll be worse.
Yeah.
So I'll buy back in, give them another chance. But I just don't know that you're going to get people to turn on their TV at 11 p.m. on a Wednesday night to see the second half of Mavs Kings. Like it's going to take a while for that to be the case again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's funny because I'm watching like the coverage of it now and just like the news developments on whether it's stadium stuff or whatever, or Mark potentially getting bought out of his shares stuff, and it has like a political feel to it where you're covering it and there's so much pretense you would have to say to explain why this is happening and why we're here. Yeah. You just skip that part and we just go straight to like, oh, new developments in Mavs new arena, and I'm like, okay, the pretense of that is all this terrible shit that we can't say. Like, and it's just numb. It's like we're covering it as if, I don't know, as if it doesn't matter to people or as if it's nothing to be done about it. You know what I mean? Like, it's like everything about every political thing that gets covered now. People just, I'm tired of saying all the 5 things I have to say before I get to this. Sorry we pissed you off. Sorry we did that. And they haven't handled it well. Like, I have big opinions about it. I'm sure you have big opinions about what happened post-trade, but it's not even, we can't even have the conversations right now. And maybe we can this offseason of, hey guys, are y'all a little regretful of how you handled any of this? And are we going to move on past this? And are you going to stop talking about Patrick? And I'd love to not think about who the owner is for 10 goddamn minutes of my life while watching basketball, but it's not there yet, man. And this kid stuff, him saying, when are we going to get past this?
Yeah, when are we getting past it, guys?
Like, dude, that's not a good
look.
look.
The one to say that,
that's not a good look.
It's not on him to say.
Yeah.
And I think yesterday, I don't remember if this was, I don't know. There was kind of this air of like, we want to hear what fans have to say. Like we want to be transparent. We don't want to we don't want to do the hand wave, get over it thing anymore, which is what they did for like 6 or 8 months.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
And they said they don't want to do it anymore. And then later that day, Jason Kidd comes out and says, why can't we just get past this? It's like, what are we doing?
He didn't get the team's message.
He didn't, I guess. No. Well, he wasn't at the lunch. He was in Milwaukee.
He didn't get the email. No. And it's funny because, I don't know what you do when you get put in that situation by Mark, but I know that that's not what you do. That's not the way to go about this.
No, it's not. And I'm sure, I know for a fact that the people that actually work for the team, like Cuban isn't an employee anymore. He's just kind of, he's just sort of a dude. They're not huge fans of him right now because he keeps talking about it, but that you kind of know what to expect whenever you're doing business with Mark Cuban. Like, he's going to talk, So it's like you either get him out of the picture entirely or you got to live with it. And if you live with it, then it could get messy like it is right now. It feels like mutually assured destruction.
Yeah.
They're in a standoff, and I think we're all just losing because of it.
Yeah. I had a question about Mark because obviously he's a big figure in both our lives. I guess not personally, but business-wise, which can become personal at some point. I was thinking about it yesterday and seeing him on that podcast and realizing what's probably going to happen to him before December 20th of, is it this year or next year?
I think it's next year.
The next year?
Yeah, I believe
or he's probably going to get bought down to 7% ownership.
Yep. He's
going to drift into oblivion of being Mavs 7% owner is barking at the clouds now.
Yeah.
But what's the run out for the rest of Mark and his relationship to this basketball team? Because I would have thrown a punch at you 2 years ago. We're sitting in the office and you're like, you know what? Mark's going to be persona non grata and his name's going to be a bad word around here. And every time he talks, half of the fan base is going to cringe.
And not even just that, I would say, and obviously I wasn't in the office with you, but just the idea that he doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. And that it doesn't matter. He's just blowing hot air and pissing people off.
Because, even at 27%, he don't really matter a lot. At single digits, as a sports owner, you have no pull anywhere.
Can you even sit courtside anymore? Like, I don't know. At that rate, I don't know. If you buy the tickets, maybe. But we kind of – I feel like there's this he's got this burning desire to just kind of be in the mix, right? Whether that's the headlines or in the room or whatever.
Always had that.
And
always been
always. It's much the Jerry Jones, like, they've got to keep talking about us, man, you know? And
that's the thing when he pops up on stuff, I'm like, is he dropping a movie or an album? Why
like,
the
what's
fuck
coming
are you
next?
talking to Mark every month?
He's not on Shark Tank anymore.
He's not
like,
doing
shit. Nothing's going on, man.
People keep inviting him, and
he cashed out and he broed down. That's it. Story over.
I keep inviting him because I want him to say some shit. And
Yeah.
I think I can ask him better questions than most people, but I'm like, what are you promoting?
Nothing. Just himself.
Yeah, just cost plus drugs.
The team he used to own, I guess. But,
yeah.
you know, I think there's definitely an element of that. Eventually, that is going to run out. That's going to burn out. There's no fuel left because you're not part of it anymore. If he gets bought out, he gets bought out. That's it.
Yeah.
You know, game over.
And he has no more secrets to share.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Or he's just going to become increasingly desperate. He's going to share the good stuff. You know, like, I would love that. Yeah, I would love that.
Do that on our show.
But, you know, I thought it was interesting yesterday on that show whenever he mentioned Michael Finley, kind of implying that he would be Mark's choice for GM. Previously in the season, and it's been well known for a while now, Mark Cuban, big fan of Dennis Lindsey, and I wouldn't be surprised if Mark Cuban really wanted Dennis Lindsey to be the next GM of the Mavs as well. But in Stein's newsletter today that came out on a Substack, I recommend everybody subscribe to that. He didn't mention Dennis Lindsey among the candidates that the Mavs are thinking about. And Michael Finley was mentioned along with Matt Riccardi in the final graph of the story as people that will be considered. You know, and they told us that yesterday too. They'll be considered, sure. Kind of participation trophy-ish.
Yeah, I mean, because Mannix reported this on SI too, like that they're going big game hunting, right? Like the Sam Prestes of the world, which that's not happening. But it was made very obvious that like they're going outside, they're going resume. And frankly, I think they should. Like
I think they should too.
Yeah.
Probably. Now, this is with president of B-Ball Ops. So there's a chance you hire big name for Prez and then you hire Riccardi or Finley for GM.
Yeah.
You know, it's like a promotion, but they're not the big
They're not the guy.
Yeah,
but
they're not the big boss. But Lindsey not being a factor and Finley probably being top 10 to top 15 candidate.
Yep.
And both of those guys being Cuban guys makes me think like he doesn't have the motion anymore, man. Like he's just – and Stein has said many times right after – they fired Nico. Cuban was in on the Zoom calls and stuff, but by the trade deadline this year, he was not in any of those meetings at all. So he's not in the basketball room. His candidates aren't being considered.
And no wonder that
the writing's on the
wall. Well, no wonder you're starting to talk because what do you have to lose?
Yeah, nothing to lose. Yeah. Nothing to lose at all. But it is weird that he would kind of introduce J Kidd into it. That's the part I can't really figure out.
Yeah, that was.
Why would he sell him out? I mean, I know he and J Kidd kind of have a hot and cold relationship dating back to his time playing here.
Yeah, right. But how he left and how he's never getting the jersey retired and all that stuff. And
but he's the one that hired J Kidd as coach.
It's
so it's like what I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out.
Yeah. He probably has a little animosity that J Kidd was involved with the trade and he didn't come to Mark first, as Mark being closer to J Kidd than he assumed Nico and J Kidd were. Like, me and you are better friends than you and Nico, right? Like, we go way further back, and I'm giving you this opportunity. And probably has some – and honestly, Mark's just going on so much shit and saying so much shit, he's going to let some stuff slip. He's going to go, well, and then our GM and coach traded the player.
What?
Just kidding. Which, I don't know, man. If you asked enough people, they would tell you J Kidd knew. He knew whether or not – no one has ever confirmed whether or not he's like, hell yeah, get that guy out of here. I hate him. But he knew. Like, I've talked to enough people that are really close to this story, and that was one of my questions. Like, initially, like, does this guy know? And I didn't know they were going to, like, sit on it this long or that it would ever come out and become a new thing. It has. Right. I don't know if they're yelling fire J Kidd next home game.
I bet they will. I mean, I bet they will on Sunday.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard a lot of different versions of what went down. I don't know what to believe. I mean, I'm inclined to think the people you talk to probably know the deal. You know, I know some of the people that you know.
Yeah.
I talk to people that know different people that say different things, but I don't even know if it does matter. It does. Clearly, it matters, but I don't know that it matters because it has been very well known for a long time that J Kidd, respectfully, is kind of a schemer. He likes to hatch a good plot, and he likes to, he's secured extensions 2 years in a row.
He's got some little finger qualities to him.
Yeah. And so whether he was in on it or not, the fact that there's any doubt kind of comes with the purchase.
Sure.
You know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah, and I think it's also worth noting because there'll be people watching this going, well, wait, Nico took all the credit. Why didn't Nico say anything? Well, you can interpret it one of two ways, and I don't think either one is wrong. One, Nico Harrison has an ego. And if that did go well, like this man believed it would go well, he wanted all that credit. Yeah. But number two, if I think even Nico Harrison, as dumb as he is, had some sense that if you give the head coach cloud cover, because if this goes badly, the room will turn on that man so fast. So you don't put his name in this so that your new project that you're staking your career to works out and everybody gets behind Jason, because for whatever anybody thinks about Jason, it's pretty much indisputable that these dudes have played hard for that guy. And there have been a lot of times before the last 2 months when, like, look, I think the outcome, the desired goal is to bottom out. But there have been a lot of other times the last few years when the bottom could have fallen out and it didn't because Jason kept it together. Well, if that's his best quality, you got to make sure these dudes do like have a reason to trust him and not think that he's going to backstab them. Don't say anything. So I can absolutely see a world in which Nico's taking all the credit and Jason's involved, and it suits everybody's interest that that's the message.
Well, and the real Machiavellian thing, and this is all just me spitballing here,
yeah,
shooting from the hip.
Yeah.
But you know, even if he wanted the trade to happen, probably smart enough to know this might not work. If it doesn't, I'm getting, I'm done.
Yeah.
And so Nico, go ahead and take all the credit, bud.
Yeah.
This was your trade.
Yeah, it's like
Jason's not dumb.
Yeah, this is your trade.
You're going to HR telling them about this coworker you got that you don't really like, and then he gets fired, and you're like, oh
no,
you know what happened?
Yeah, and there are a lot of Mavs fans, because it was kind of initially presented this way, that still believe that Nico and J-Kid were a package deal. There are a lot of people that will tell you that was not the case.
Yeah.
And there are also a lot of people that would tell you that those guys were not even on the same page, like, at all, heading into not just last season, but even before that.
Yep.
And they did disagree on a lot of guys, including JaVale McGee and including Christian Wood. And those guys happened before the finals run.
Yep.
And clearly they were probably not on the same page about Jalen Brunson, if I had to guess, certainly with Mark. And I also think it's interesting that, last Mav season ended amid a storm of Fire Nico chants every single game at the arena. And very early in the offseason, J-Kid is interviewing for the Knicks job and secures an extension that was given to him by Patrick Dumont, not by Nico Harrison. So it's just like, come on, dude. Like,
I mean, there's also the idea of, and like this has been out there, who's the agent for Jason Kidd? The agent for Nico Harrison. And if you can connect a few dots about how this sort of thing might go down and how to make sure that extension goes down, and who's dealing with who really around here. And if you know how NBA business works, that agents make a lot of decisions.
They do. But there are also people that think J-Kid wants to be GM and not coach.
Well, Mannix reported that.
Yeah. Stein has reported that that's not the case. But again, this is something everyone says something different. But again, like, I think J-Kid is I don't know schematically how I feel. I think his defense is kind of a little stubborn at times, but I think that guys will play hard for him.
Yeah.
And that is a quality that,
that is a very hard thing.
Tactical genius Rick Carlisle could not engender that into the team. He did not get that from those guys.
This team sucks too much for this much palace intrigue, man. Like,
I know, but like, that's all there is to talk about.
I know, but there's so much of it, and it's just like, when you'd hear this stuff 20 years ago with the Shaq Kobe Lakers, you're like, all right, well, I get it. They're really good. And it's like, this is a freaking mess with one good player you're excited about. And somehow every week there's something new going on.
It feels kind of like a sinking ship, does it? Like, it feels pretty messy.
Yeah.
And, in not that it's the same at all, but, there have been like these periods of dysfunction with the Mavs for a long time. This isn't new. Every single instance is different than the previous one. But remember, Don Nelson, he retired like with 10 games left in the regular season in a year where the Mavs won 58 games.
Yeah.
And Avery Johnson abruptly took over. That was right after Cuban let Steve Nash walk.
Yeah. Well, and I mean,
Nash won MVP 2 years in a row.
Well, yeah, and I remember they used to have the court transcripts. The Morning used to have the court transcripts of that lawsuit on the internet, and you go and you read it, and you're just like, oh yeah, this got real bad real quick. And then and it's also a nice little piece of how business is conducted, like just going through how like the Nash thing went down, where it's basically like at 11th hour, like, more or less strong arm. Like, listen, man, my agent's telling me like, we've got to deal with Phoenix, obviously, before the tampering window opens, because that's how sports work, guys.
Yeah.
And it's just like, Can you match or not match? I have to find out right now. And Mark's just like, dude, I'm on you got to make me decide right now. And yeah, man, that's how the game is.
Have you just not thought about it? You don't have a ready-made.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Plan for every scenario.
But everything, yeah. I mean, like, it's baked in. I think the only difference is that, like, for years, I think people understood how the game was played, which is who has Mark's ear at this moment. And now it's who makes what decisions when and who is influencing
whose ear do you need?
Yeah.
Probably Dumont's, but Dumont doesn't have any skins in the game. He has no idea what's going on mostly. Like, he's still learning about the industry. And so, yeah, Dumont listened to Nico, let Nico do whatever he wanted, and that backfired.
Right. So
now it seems like he's letting J-Kid do whatever he wants, and I don't know if that's going
well. But there was a stretch, right, where early in the year, like, Mark's back in the good graces. And so then all of a sudden it's like, oh, okay, Mark has sway again. But now clearly that's not the case. Listening to Jason? Is he listening to Finley? Is he just going to listen to agents? Like, is he doing a search firm? I have no idea.
Not doing a firm.
Okay, so there's
not using one.
We've answered that part. But yeah, it's weird. So much, again, palace intrigue for a team that should not have this much palace intrigue.
That is reflective. I mean, it makes sense looking back at what's happened the last 2 years. Very easy to understand how it happened. But then it also gives me a lot of worry about what's going to happen next, because you have a chance to almost kind of reset. You're going to have a great pick. You got trade exceptions. You got the mid-level. You got a lot of guys that teams would probably pay a decent price for if you want to retool this thing right now. I just don't know if I trust anyone in the room to make the right decision.
Which is why, like, if there's a reason to be optimistic about this thing, to me, it is the fact that they are very determined to go outside the family and bring someone in who, presumably, if you get a name of that kind of weight, they're not coming here the way a Rick Welts is not coming here unless there are some conditions that'll be met. And Patrick isn't the sort of guy who's going to try to meddle in every little thing, right? He's out there letting people.
I don't know. The last person he gave autonomy to made the biggest mistake of all time.
Right, but
I couldn't blame him for wanting a little more say.
I suppose, but I think I think again, if this is what happens, you hire a big name from the outside who has a resume. Nico had no resume, right? Yeah. Nico was inherited, and
who hired him, by the way?
Yeah. But my point is basically that if you bring in someone from the outside who's not from here, who you are going to give autonomy to because they would not come here without autonomy, that person is going to look at a lot of stuff and be like, this is fucked. This isn't happening anymore. I'm not doing any of that. You can't do any of this stuff. And that's the best chance you have at cleaning up, because if you're just trying to continually promote people from a broken culture, it's never going to get fixed. You got to get someone in here to clean house. And that seems like where this is going to trend. And that, by clean house, for the record, I don't mean like fire a bunch of people. There's a bunch of bad folks in the organization. You guys know there are a lot of great folks in the organization, but there needs to be structure and order and best practices that align with how most of these other teams do business.
Yeah.
And the best thing you could do is not just take somebody who's been around for what has so often been chaos here. You need to take someone from the outside who can like tell you this is how it's done somewhere else. How do I know? Because I've been in a normal environment and won things. But you need something like that.
Yeah. Now I do want to take a second to say I don't think that Michael Finley is either a product or a cause of chaos. I think he's actually really buttoned up.
Yeah, and it's not even like about any one person.
But it would signal a little bit of status quo. It would signal he's part of the family, and like whether he's qualified for the job or not, I don't know that a lot of Mavs fans would just be like, yeah, I love this shit. You know. Yeah. Even though I think Finley would do a pretty good job.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a instinct to want to just hit hard reset overall and just not have to think about, well, did Finley have any, hand in what went on? And the last thing I'll say about the drama and the Cuban stuff is no matter my personal feelings about the man or whatever, there is a extremely long track record of combustibility over a long enough timeline. And I think in the time that I worked there with you was probably the most normal time of his ownership. And for the first 2 years, I didn't see him. He wasn't really involved, right? Because of what had happened previously. And I don't think people still to this day quite have a handle on how jarring it was when Mark was removed from all these conversations and workflows and Nico was introduced. You show up one day and it's a different person holding the conversation and a different person that, you know this as well, we all know this. Being the person that is conveying information and holding conversations between groups, there is a supreme power in that. Mm-hmm. And the entire org was built around Mark for the longest time. And when you remove him and then you put Nico in there and he's hearing things from people that he might have a different reaction to. Mark might hear and go, oh, it's just Luka. Like, whatever. Doesn't matter. Nico hears and, oh, I'm actually concerned. Or fakes concern. And then runs and tells Dumont, this is what's happening. It's my job to report this back to you. Like, I got to be honest about what's happening here. And people still don't understand when you take Mark out of these rooms and you insert Nico into these rooms, what happens and how power can be manipulated in that way. And it's one of the, the great failings of what has happened over the last 2 years with that organization and since the Dumont family, Adelson family has owned it. But final non-buzzer beater I wanted to throw your way because I tweeted about it, so you might have saw it. But
you've been posting a lot more lately.
Yeah,
he's out there in these streets again.
Yeah. I basically didn't do Twitter for like 8 years.
It was probably awesome, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was good. And now I just do it and don't look at the replies or anything. It's pretty good too. Okay, so say the sale never goes through. December 20th never happens. Mark just keeps on owning the team. I really, really think they would be the front runner for Giannis this summer. Do you agree?
Good question.
Luka's still here. We're still pushing for finals.
I don't know because I think Giannis wants to be like the guy.
You think so?
And I think if you're playing with Luka, you're not the guy. Luka's the guy.
Where can he go and be the guy now?
Miami.
Ooh, yeah, Miami.
Did you not see Bam scored 83 points? That's the greatest.
That's true.
Did you not see the 70 people we listed on this show?
That's the greatest sporting achievement that's ever happened.
People will tell you that if the Bucks didn't trade for Drew in 2020, that Giannis was going to be a Mav. So maybe it would have ended up happening, but in 2020, Luka wasn't Luka either. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, I don't know, but maybe. I bet it would be it would obviously be a much different situation had he never sold.
Yeah, I see all the teams that are lining up, and I'm just going like, Luka Mavs would be the best team to go to out of this little shitty group that's collecting. Mm-hmm. Going, ooh, come on, Giannis. Like, all right, let's do some fast ones. Okay. Worst place they could possibly build the new arena.
Oh God. City Hall.
Okay.
I think it'd be messy, and also it's really tough to get to. How do you get there?
You got to drive through all the people sleeping on St. Paul Bridge. And then you got to drive through all the construction that's being torn up.
You want 20,000 people going in there?
Yeah, that's a dude.
With there's no dart station, right?
No.
No.
Mm-hmm.
Convention center. I think you'd have to get dropped at the convention center and walk.
Oh my God. I think City Hall would be tough, but Valley View Mall personally, because I just don't like being on 635. I have like a no 635 policy.
So do I.
Yeah.
I never go outside the loop. I don't have to.
No need to.
Far North Dallas guy, that would absolutely screw up my commute if they did that. The nightmare for my commute is if you put that there and you put the stars thing in Willow Bend, because my house is like between those two things.
Oh,
you're just stadium guy.
Yeah, I'm just stadium boy.
Your taxes are so insane on your property.
Dealing with terrible commutes all the time. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Best dirt game winner.
Game 2, 2011 finals.
That's fair.
If that division.
I mean, that's his answer. So
okay.
Yeah. So you're on the right side of history.
But if I can't say that one because that's the most obvious one, I love the one against the Bulls in 2013 when he had the beard, it looked like Jesus.
Yeah. That's a great one. That's a great one.
Awesome.
That's a deep cut.
Next Mavs jersey to get retired.
I would have said Jason Kidd probably 2 months ago.
Come to the right side of history. There's one answer.
I hope it's Finley.
There it is.
I hope it's Finley.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my follow up that we didn't put on the sheet. Your favorite jersey that you own.
Ooh.
How many do you have?
I'm gonna tell you a story after you answer because I got a funny one.
I think I have like 10 probably. I like the one that I have. I don't ever wear it because it's not really wearable, but it's just all black. They made it in 2019, I think, for all of the active MVPs. Yeah, and so they only made like 5 or 6.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Black on black Dirk one's pretty.
Yeah,
that's sick. I like that.
That's a pretty special one.
I was in my closet the other day and I saw a bag. This is a Mavs bag, and I was like, "What is this?" And I look in there, and it's a Sterling Brown Pegasus jersey.
Sterling Brown.
Remember they put the Pegasus jersey out on like the table? And you were like, "I don't know, there's some over there," and I went over there. I was like, "You got a Collie Stein, I think."
I think I might have got a Willie. I have a Marquise Daniels one.
Yeah.
That's special
there
to
you go.
me.
That's a great one.
The Sterling Brown. I'm gonna rock that every once in a while.
Let's go,
Sterling
man.
Brown.
What a legend.
All right. So you'll know what this means, and if viewer you don't know what this means, this is a guy that we hope becomes a Mav at some point. Like just fits all the mold, right? Like he's gonna be here. Who is the most future Mav that never became a Mav?
Wow, that's a really good one. Man, I mean, there's a lot. Giannis would be on there. Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
That was more hopeful than like should have been.
Yeah.
Shard Lewis.
He actually would have been a perfect like 2006 Mav.
Here's another one of my all-time faves for this since he signed the offer sheet. Michael Redd.
Ooh, Michael Redd would have been a good one. Now that's very like 03 Mavs.
Yeah.
That's the most 03 Mavs. I mean, there's been so many. Like, I feel like you're putting me on the spot. This sucks. I don't know. Give me some of yours.
Spencer Hawes. I always think big men because they were like really obsessed with like weird ass big men
Every year.
back in the day.
Turn it through.
Pekovic.
Ooh,
Pekovic.
yeah, that's a good one.
Pekovic or Gorgie Jang.
Shout out Jake.
Yeah, shout out Kemp. So
Big
yeah,
Jang.
I always think of the bigs. Like the little dudes, I feel like we didn't have a type for little dudes, quite honestly. It was just kind of like whoever would sign with us at the time. And a lot of them did boomerang. Like there was times where people were future Mav, Darren Williams, and then they actually became Mav, you know.
Chris Paul felt that way for a long time.
Chris Paul definitely felt, yeah, even to the end, I was like,
yeah.
Get Chris Paul in here, guys.
Yeah, I would have loved that.
1,000% was on board with that over D'Lo.
I still think they would have sucked, but I think that it would have been better for Coop. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the guy that I wanted of that group.
No, I agree. As we spoke, you have sat through a lot of bad basketball this year. What is the single dumbest Mavs game you've watched this entire dumb season?
It's like a 70-way tie. There was a game they lost. I mean, this is kind of recency bias, but there was a game they lost against Sacramento at home where literally dudes that I don't like were just cooking them.
Yeah.
I was like, this is incredible. You know, like the Kings had lost like 15 in a row or something, and here they come. But maybe the dumbest one actually was when they beat Portland recently. The Blazers, they're really bad, man. They have no business being better than the Mavs. That's a really, really brutal watch. And the Mavs went to Portland and played a bunch of their guys and won a game. And that put them tied in the win column with New Orleans and with Memphis. And I was thinking they're going to fall from 6 to 8 in the lottery because they beat the freaking Portland Trailblazers.
That Cavs game was dumber, though.
Yeah, but Harden didn't show up. Like they had clearly been out the night before. You know, like I can't blame the Mavs for winning that one. They just beat their ass.
Yeah. It was just so bizarre. I was just like, they're doing what to who? Signature Cooper Flag rookie year game. You look back at this and you say that's the one where I was just like, yeah, this guy's a motherfucker.
The 49 against Charlotte was pretty cool.
That's the one.
Splashy number, but also just it was him and Kahn going at it.
Yeah, that's the
awesome.
one that I will. Yeah,
that was amazing. The one in Utah, he scored 42. That was like his first time scoring more than 30 or something. Like that was incredible.
Yeah. Last one, most important one. Best Mike Marshall workplace story you could tell on this esteemed YouTube show.
Ooh. Okay. Okay. There's been a lot of dust ups.
Why does he go negative?
Why would anybody have bad things to say about me? Come on now.
I mean, one that comes to mind was that you used to, at the end of the day, back whenever you and I would still be there until 5:30, and like 6 other people in the office would, like most people would just not even show up.
Yeah,
not everyone should get to work from home all the time. So I'm very liberal in that way. But if you were there, a lot of people would leave early, and so the last like 30-45 minutes of the day, you just play music, and you know. Every day it got like a little louder, See,
we
and then people started complaining, and I just thought that was really funny. It's like 5:26. Like, who cares if he's playing some fucking music, you know? And it became a thing, and I thought that was kind of emblematic of the way things were.
Yeah, pretty much.
Have fun, but not too much fun.
Yeah.
You know, like
we don't need fun police.
Don't make your fun my problem.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
There's got to be more though.
Oh, I mean, there's a million, right? Like, but they're all like, I don't know. I stick to my business. You know, I don't like do anything over the top.
I always really did appreciate though. I not in like a corny way, but we would always have basically our staff grew a lot. Whenever Mike started there was like 3 or 4 of us on the team, and then by the time I hung him up, there was like 20, and I think there was even more the year after.
Yep.
And
it's like 25 people at the end.
Oftentimes, on his way to the arena, Mike would stop and just pick up a bunch of teas or a bunch of snacks or a bunch of whatever and just bring them. And
listen, once a week, this man drops bagels at the office and hits the all company teams chat.
Really?
It's good for morale.
Dude, and it was just so nice. And I really, really appreciated that.
Hey, y'all are going to work all night? I'm really not doing shit at the game. I'm just up there hanging out, talking to you.
Yeah,
and I'm like, these photographers are like running around with like a 30-pound camera on their shoulder for 5 hours straight and taking orders from psychos on teams, yelling at them to get this and that. And I'm like, dude, the least I can do is like help you stay motivated and like give you a smile for 2 minutes. You know what I mean? So
there's a little gesture, but it goes a long way with people.
Yeah,
I really appreciate that. Also, you're a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But I really
fuck
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
Let me sim a lottery real quick.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Okay. 37% chance.
Oh, we dropped down to 8.
No, dude. The most fitting outcome.
God, but it's like a 3% chance to move down to 8.
We got the Kings.
Get ready to learn Nate Ament, buddy.
Dude, don't. Oh, man.
The Hawks, by way of the Pelicans, get the second pick. Nets 3. Bucks jump up to 4.
They don't deserve that.
I'm sorry, friend.
They don't. So that means the Pacers fall out too. So the Clippers get the pick.
Yeah. Yes, it was a Clippers
The
pick.
vibes in this show
That's awesome.
45 seconds ago when we're hearing these beautiful, heartwarming moments to fuck you and here's Utah winning the lottery. I don't know how else we can go out.
We're the living.
One more favorite. The Rangers won the World Series.
Oh,
yes.
Night of the Mavs home opener, 23-24. That was really fun. I watched the end of the game in the press box with Mike, and we hugged each other afterward, and it was a beautiful moment.
There we go. All right, now we set the tone to get back out here on the right
Dick.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know that Michael Jordan, Larry Bird meme where they're hugging each other and laughing, but it says "fuck you, you bitch."
Yeah,
That's me and Bobby's
That's
dynamic.
you guys. That's beautiful.
We're just laughing and getting saying "fuck you" back and forth. Well, that was fun, man. Thank you so much.
Too much
for your
fun.
time.
Thanks for coming, brother.
Thank you all for having me.
Yeah, you're the best. All right, more show.
Oh, can I do a thing?
Do whatever.
Please. Plug your stuff.
DLLS Sports on YouTube. Subscribe. It is a very good YouTube channel. DLLS Mavs podcast 5 days a week. In season, out of season, doesn't matter. 5 days a
Reward
week.
this man's suffering.
Exactly. Please lob us a sub. It's me, Kevin Gray, Mark Stein, and Ron Harad Jr. It's very fun. Check out all of our shows. I love all of you, and I love each of you.
And we love you.
Do it right now.
You don't pay any money to watch this show, but you just got your money's worth because that was awesome. Bobby always knows a lot. This guy always knows a lot. That was a great time. We are not going to go out a great time, though, because we work at a really stupid business.
Yeah.
Pro Football Focus doesn't exist at all. For all intents and purposes, it's about to cease to exist. So,
Yeah.
Mike Marshall, feel your feelings. Let's talk about it. Let's eulogize a great website.
Yeah. So the enterprise portion of Pro Football Focus has been sold to a company called Teamworks. And you probably don't know what Teamworks is. You've had no reason to know that, but they do a lot of infrastructure stuff for teams, kind of like what it sounds like. For over $100 million, which means that a lot of the stats and a lot of the grading and the information and all the just like the goodwill work of educating fans is going to go out the door. And what followed that immediately was most of the Pro Football Focus people that remained that were on the content side got let go this week. I'm thinking of Trevor Sikkema.
John Oening.
Yeah,
You're
John,
a Cowboy fan.
John
You don't know
Oening.
John, you're not doing it right.
Yeah. Dalton Wasserman, his co-host, I think his name is Max. It was just a slew of people saying, hey, my company sold the thing I helped build was so good that somebody wanted to buy it, and now I am without job. And these people did not get payouts. It was not that type of situation. They didn't have stock in the company. There's a lot to be read into what's happened to PFF probably since 2021, since one of the co-owners, Neil Hornsby, who honestly, reading and listening to these people talk about him and that situation, Neil Hornsby, there's a lot of alignment with him and PFF and Mark with the Mavs, where a lot of the company was built on running through his office, running through his desk, a lot of people that answer to him, a lot of situations that he would just have conversations about and solve. And he really, really cared about the people, much like Mark.
Yep.
To the point where, Mark cut every employee in on whatever he sold. Different percentages for different tenure and different scales of, what level you were on. And Neil really cared about the people, and he just wanted to make the best possible football website and information source that could possibly exist, and in turn build the smartest fan base that you possibly could.
Yeah.
And that has always meant something to me. Whether or not you care about how Pro Football Focus graded things or agreed with them, or were on the J.J. Watt side of like, these guys don't know what they're talking about, they really, really gave a shit about how they graded plays, graded teams, graded players. It was
also nothing like them.
There was nothing even close, dude. Nothing even close to trying to do this. And a lot of the teams adopted this, and they got so successful that they tried to sell.
So I felt like a lot of the criticism they always have is in bad faith.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not a perfect process. Oh, they screw this up. They screw that up. The PFF grades are dumb.
Well, no one's even trying. No one else is even trying.
You have to start somewhere. And what you had was more knowledge than what you had previously.
Yes.
So it was a really important thing.
Yeah.
And it was an important thing that was made by people who showed up and worked for each other.
Mm-hmm.
And
they made no money, to be clear. Like grading games and tapes, I know how much they made whenever they would do it. And a lot of the guys started there. Like Mike Renner, who's one of my favorite draft analysts. He started grading tapes, which means Sunday night, 1 a.m.
Yep.
You're sitting here grading this GD Cardinals game for 2.5 hours every play. And it was a labor of love.
Yeah.
And it was all under the assumption and under the motivation that we are going to create smarter fans and building smarter fan bases. And I don't know if you noticed by watching this show, that's kind of what we try to do.
Yeah.
Like if I'm doing anything, I'm trying to help you stay more informed. I'm not trying to spit out hot takes. I'm not trying to go viral. I'm trying to make the Dallas sports fan as educated as they can possibly be with the information that I can get my hands on.
Doing that while also doing it with somebody you care about, which is the whole point. We make the show because we like doing stuff together. We want to do smart stuff for you guys. And that's what this business that Mike and I have both been in for a very long time is a really messed up business, right? I'd like to think that you're intelligent people watching the show and you don't buy into some of the tropes out there about the elite media and all that money going through there. Guys, it ain't that at all.
It doesn't exist.
The whole point of why you do some of this stuff is to just make good things with people you care about. That's ideally what you should be doing here. And these guys did that, and they made things better. And the reward for it was everybody else getting rich off of their livelihoods, and now they're on the unemployment line when the economy is in the crapper.
Yeah, and if a football website and content hub with Austin Gale and Eric Eager and Mike Renner and Steve Palazzolo and Sam Monson and all, I can go down the line of all the talent they had. If that shit can't work, if PFF can't work in terms of content generation and people just want to make it a husk of a company and sell the data side and the engineer side and the side that you never ever see that just works with teams, like I don't know what hope there is for any sports outlet long term that is genuinely trying to make plus 10% each year.
Well, that's it, right? It can work, and it did work. Otherwise, this wouldn't have got purchased.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the people who are in charge would rather jack up their growth versus make a good thing at less profit.
Yeah.
And that's the story of America right now.
Yeah. Everyone expects increment or exponential growth out of whatever they invest their money in. If you don't have a financial backer that just doesn't give an F about, okay, cool, plus 5% this quarter, that's fine, then you don't have a chance. Like, you just don't. And there were a couple missteps, and you can listen to Check the Mic today, which is Steve and Sam's new show. And I don't know, dude. I don't want to like oversell these people's influence on my life, but most of what I know about football, I've learned from one of those people I just named. Austin, Eric, Mike, Steve, Sam, down the line of the dudes that worked at PFF. Trevor Sickma. Connor Rogers doesn't work there full time, but he hosts a great show there. Most of what I know about football, about the sport I love the most, was learned from one of those people. And I'm sure there are thousands of people like me that experience that. And if you want to listen to like how a company turns into this and how this happens, you can listen to Check the Mic today. Steve and Sam's show, they had Mike Renner on, and I would advise you to check Mike Renner's draft stuff this year. He's my favorite dude doing it. Whenever it gets down to rankings and things like that. But man, it was just, they put the wrong people in charge. They stopped caring about the people. They invested all their money in this technology stuff, this app that was going to save them. Let's get a new round of investment and dump it solely into that. And it was just, I guess, such a sad story, and it made me really feel close to it because of my experience with the Mavs. And it sucks. And they are one of the best sports outlets that has ever existed.
And one of the best we had left because the number is dwindling.
Yeah, and it's done. Some of those shows will live on. NFL Stock Exchange will live on somewhere else. The college football show will live on in some other capacity.
Yep.
But cutting out the heart, which was Neil, and Neil was, I'm not trying to make Neil Hornsby a saint or anything like that, but he genuinely gave a shit about the right things. Yeah. And he propped those people up and gave them opportunities. And as long as you cared about the same things that I did in terms of educating fans in football and genuinely bringing something to the table that no one else can, we're good.
Yeah.
There was a joke, Steve used to say Neil tried to fire all of us at least once, right? And I was like, yeah, it's it takes that sometimes. But whenever they cut out the heart, it became about profits and it became about a 10,000 view show. I've followed this because I remember when Austin left and I was watching a lot of Austin Gale's show. And then Mike Renner tried to launch a show and 10,000 views weren't enough. We want 50,000 views. And okay, well, it's a brand new show. How do you think that's going to happen? It's just.
Yeah,
it's just the industry eating itself because everyone wants to become super rich off this stuff. And I don't know, man. I've always come at this in almost everything I do of I'm not ever going to try to get to the point of where it's about money and it's about profit. To me, your worth in this life and in this business is how many people would run through an effing wall for you, right? And if you have more than a handful, you're a very lucky person.
Yeah.
And that's what PFF was about. It wasn't about these guys getting rich or even becoming like uber famous or influencers or getting quoted on Monday Night Football or whatever. And Collinsworth is to blame for some of this. Like, I don't want to let him off the hook and get through this without saying his name. But, I think Renner said it really well this morning whenever he was talking about his buddy used to do a show with Austin Gale, and he said, man, you don't understand how rich you are. You have no idea how rich you are because you have 20, 30, 40 people in this industry that would go fight for you right now.
Yeah.
Like today. Yeah. And I thought that was really cool. And these guys are like kind of my contemporaries. Some of them are a little bit older than me. Some of them are younger than me. But I've always admired how they work, and it really bums me out, man. And I hate this. I hate it to its core. And these people aren't going to see any of that $100 million, and that's
no. I've come through the internet and worked at a lot of publications that don't exist anymore, and it's kind of then it becomes a thing where it's, do you remember this thing? Do you remember when that existed? And the worst part of it is when it doesn't have to be that way. It didn't have to be that way with this, but we'll remember. PFF, your good website, man. Thanks to everybody who did awesome work because he changed how people do this. That's a rare, special thing, and that was not as financially rewarding as it should have been, but there is a bigger reward that will live on. So props to you.
Yeah, and I hope all these people land on their feet.
Yeah,
they show they're all super talented. They deserve more opportunities, and I don't know. It was just a weird week for sports industry in general. It just shocks me. Like, if PFF can't make it, like who's gonna make it? So anyway, sorry to end on such a downer.
The rest of the show was fun though, right?
The
rest of the show was good.
We had some fun.
We had a good time with Bobby Karalla. We had a great time with JD Perry.
Yeah,
running the show for us today.
My man.
Had a great time with this guy, like I do every single week. Thanks for checking in with us. We will check in with you next week. Appreciate you.